Welcome to the Whoop-De Wop.
Drifting off and
We're
getting away
going
from
to
that.
keep going over it, and I'm going to keep twisting your words
Whoop-De-Wop
to remind everybody
is
Oh
we
my
don't owe
God.
white people. We do not owe white people
Whoop-De-Wop
shit.
is a place.
I run the risk,
Whoop-De-Wop
and it's not my channel, so I will just drop this fucking link.
Just curious, you know who's your
hand me the Whoop-De-Wop.
Well, I know it's an Indiana thing.
You got some
Yeah, but
money?
do you know what
We're going
Hoosier
to the
is?
Whoop-De-Wop.
I actually don't.
Okay,
Yo,
got
we
something to do with
throw,
things.
throw some cool
And
Whoop-De-Wops.
from a future, you're going to get certain things that are going to happen. And
Well, I
walk
do
down
know
to
at one
Coke
point
Stove, go
Indiana
grab that
was
shit
like
right
the
quick.
center of the
She
clan.
was like, cool. And she already know to get my dough. So,
Hello, travelers. I'm Timothy French, and we're in McCormick, South Carolina, to continue on our quest to visit every town center in the state. So let's get started right here at their old depot. Yeah, cool old building they saved in town. A little train up there, and there's their name.
Oh my
Yeah, this is a awesome little town. I was not expecting to see a town like this when I headed down this way from Troy, South Carolina, which is a very rural town. And while I was there, I said everybody probably went to Greenwood to get what they needed because all their little stores had closed. But I can see right now that they come on down through here, which is not very far from Troy. Yeah, I popped out of the rural area straight into here, and I was pleasantly surprised. So let's get started and walk around. Let's see what the place looks like. Like I say, we got their old depot here. They taken care of. They could probably use a little more taken care of as far as paint and all, but it looks like they're on the right track with it. And a lot of their buildings are full here, as you can see. We're going to walk through the whole thing, let you see what's open and what's not. Maybe you like to move here, maybe you'd like to open a business here. My videos are all about, at least this series is all about bringing people back down to their town center, making sure they're thriving and healthy. Look at there. That old train. But the little deck here is falling down. There's a fire department over there, it looks like. Beautiful American flag out this morning. It's almost noon. Handicap parking here with a nice little place to sit under the shade tree. I imagine it gets a little warm down here in the summertime. It's spring right now. It's perfect. All right, we're going to turn around. Looks like got a little restaurant right there on the corner. So let's jump over there and then we'll head back into town. Talk about its history a little bit here. Well, this bagels good. They're getting ready for lunch. Yes, 12:10. Yeah, I don't see nobody in there right now, though. There's somebody in there eating. I only see one person, though. Y'all need to get down there and eat at that restaurant. It smells good. Got another one right here, Mexican Bar and Grill. Get you a Corona, I guess, if you want to get a little midday brew. Yeah, McCormick is a small town of about 2,200 people right on the edge of Lake Storm, Thurman in western South Carolina. It is the county seat of the state's smallest county. There's an empty one right here. If you're interested in putting a business in here, artwork's here, a little gift shop, still got the Easter Bunny stuff up. Happy birthday, Janice. Artesians.
Well, let me stop this right here to say welcome to Stanley versus the World. Happy Sunday morning. It is a pop-up show, and I love little small southern towns. I actually live in one, but it's in Georgia, and it always makes me happy to see I don't know, blue skies, small southern town, just drifting through, and it's I guess one of these old man things is to just kind of enjoy life, and um I should get out more and spend less time on YouTube panels. I'm learning that now, but here we go. McCormick, South Carolina.
Skilled. Camping and outdoors store right here. That says. Okay, it's a lawn and garden store. They got home and farm and camping and outdoors. So that's good. Got it all. Beautiful flowers. Oh, yes. All kinds of stuff in there. You got the hardware stuff. Need to come in and paint for spring, do all that spring cleaning, get you some big old chairs to put on your porch. I think that temperature's right at 60 something. I'm in short sleeves here. Confused. It's a green building, like a gallery, but it's got all the hardware store stuff in front of it. So maybe it closed and they was putting their stuff out in front of that building. Well, let's keep going. This one's empty, it looks like. Got a bunch of rinse and clean bucket stuff stored in there. So maybe somebody's using it for storage, but I would rather it be retail. People could go in and out of it. Here's another cool building on the corner that could be used. I'm telling you. Look at that old tile. Look at me back there waving at you. I'm telling you, this could be the, well, I think it already is. The secret's already out here. But it's going to be a place people want to be for sure. There's a big one right there that's be worked on as well. Church out there by the bank. They got a thrift store right there. Let's keep going into the main part of town right here through McCormick, town of McCormick sign. Sun's a little low in the sky. I'm trying to get a good shot of that train depot there. Uh-oh, somebody's done got hurt. Ambulance. Ashton, this is Spring Your Hair, maybe a salon. What we got here? I can't. I can't say it's a salon. Y'all tell me what that means. ASHA. Ashlands. Sorry if I got that wrong. That kind of font's hard for me to read. This looks like it doesn't have a. It's got like Valentine's.
Salute, Brian. Salute, Lord ADS. Good to see you.
Doesn't look
hey,
open
Sam.
right now. It says open though.
What have you? What
I think
are
it's
you
flourished.
sending me? Again, since everyone's filing in, please make sure you hit the like button, and if you happen to be new, please subscribe. Look, as I said, I have a thing for small towns. I happen to live in one in Georgia. This is McCormick, South Carolina. Never been there, but I know the area. It's upstate. What can I say? This to me is heaven on earth. Spring day, small town, just wandering around town. Reminds me of when I was a kid. We used to go in town, for grocery shopping or, just whatever. But it does a heart good to it's a Sunday morning going through town. Wish I were there.
Drugstore here as well.
Hey, Shiesty.
Strong's drugstore. Oh yeah, I think I read online.
Strong's drugstore.
One of those counters in there, you can still get a milkshake and all. Yeah, I see it back there. Oh yeah.
No, it's
Nice.
not Oakland. It's South Carolina.
You got one of those in your town. You're doing good. Let's keep going. Get around these people here. Some house-looking building over there. Could have been an old hotel at one time, maybe. I don't know.
Looks like Hayhira,
They didn't
Georgia.
mind parking right in the middle of the road.
There is a Hayhira, Georgia.
All right. Stories at the Red Rooster. Yeah, the Red Rooster's got a lot of products you can buy. I'm sure they'd love to have you come inside. All right. Trying to get around all those people. Got one boarded up here. Somebody busted the glass out. They still got their Christmas stuff painted on the windows. There's their clock, a little after 12. That's correct. All the windows are in up on top, so that's good. Let's keep going.
That's
Got
funny.
another store here. Some of the best things in life are old, loved, and rescued.
I'll show it in a
I
minute.
guess I'm some of the best things because I'm old. Yeah. Junction on Main, vintage junk and treasures. Make sure you stop in and give them a visit. Got a real estate office here. What else? The sun's kind of blocking me out a little bit, so I can't see my phone. Let's see if there's anything else to say. Yeah, gold was discovered here in the 1850s at the Dorn Mine. Inventor Cyrus McCormick bought the land, donated some for the town, and it was named after him when it incorporated in 1882. Downtown still has that classic Southern feel, brick storefronts and old train depot, just like we looked at earlier. All right. Let me jump on over. Look at this old miner out here. Cormac himself there, panning for gold. Get that gold, buddy. Get that gold. Get that gold. Rail Towns and McCormick. Okay. Got a map there. So Parkville. Modoc, it looks like Parksville. I think we're going to Parksville and Plum Ranch here today. Going up the road there.
Yeah, Richard, I
On the
actually
pines of the National
woke
Sunset
up
Forest.
early.
That's a good mural.
Probably
Good
got
mural.
like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. And
There's a little gas
I'll probably
station on
take a
out that
nap
way.
later on. But
Ageless
yeah,
Beauty
it was
Skincare is out there for you.
it
Don't
was a
forget about it.
traumatic night.
Yeah, I like that.
But lessons learned.
Oh, that's the deer's leg. Sun had it kind of blocked. Watch out. Here's a wolf.
Richard, there's small Florida towns like this. This is South Carolina.
Take a turn here. Books on Main. You can go. It says
Well, when you get
Kids Center,
old,
the
Richard,
next door over.
you can
So
do
there
with
it is.
less sleep. It's
Let's
you
keep
know, it's
looking at these
funny.
people go by.
I think I probably said this before. I was talking to my father probably 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago. And he was kind of like, well, when do you sleep? You know, I'm like, well, you remember when I was a kid, I once asked my father, and this, I don't know why I remember this, but I must have been about 6 or 7. And I asked him, well, Daddy, when do deer sleep? I was always asking stupid questions. And, his answer was like, well, when they need to sleep, which is pretty much true. And so when he asked me, when do you sleep? Because he's always worried about when to call. And I reminded him of that story. And I'm pretty much the same way. I sleep when I need to sleep. I don't really have a set schedule.
There's the train station down there.
That
Used
was
to be a
very
Wilkins.
that was very Mayberry RFD, wasn't it?
And this is the way we're walking. There's the bookstore on Main, new and used. Then we got Studio Essence, hair and nail design.
He's going to show us every store in town.
Beautiful, beautiful day to walk through your downtown area. Got a pizza place there. Insurance center on the right. I'm smelling something else. It smells good. Must be the pizza place back there. This one's private. I don't know what's in there. It just says private. Oh, they got a coffee shop there. Coffee and ice cream. Yeah, ice cream's going to have to compete with the drugstore down there because I think I'd rather have my ice cream down here, my coffee up here. Yeah, coffee headquarters and a sandwich shop. People's in there. People's in there. All right, let's keep going. Go back out in the road. McCormick Helping Hands.
Damn.
Some kind of business that's open but no sign.
You know, one of these days
Like
I'll
so that would be
film my little downtown.
some advice I would give to them is to put a sign up that says what they do. There's State Farm. All right, let's jump over. Oh, I don't know what I wanted to see. I think I saw it coming in.
A Sunday driver. Yeah, just kind of wandering.
I think it's
Pretty
right
impressive
up here.
that there's not a lot of traffic though.
Maybe I'm wrong. But we did find chicken hamburgers McCormick Drive-In. Looks like this might be the little secret hot spot in town. Y'all
Sin,
eating there? Let me know.
America doesn't like history.
This is what I wanted to show you. I've never seen one. Preferred pet wash.
Oh, wow. A pet wash? I guess you just
pay and go in there.
That is interesting. I didn't know they did car
Got a
washes
place
for
for you,
dogs.
put your dog, got the vacuum and all. Doggy
Who the
treats.
fuck knew?
Put your money in kind of like a car wash.
Wow.
I got shampoo, Taylor shampoo, conditioner, flea and tick stuff, rinse, vacuum, and dry. That's
Wow.
pretty good.
I
That's pretty
had
good.
no clue these existed.
There's the post office over there.
I'm gonna have to find one or invest with one. Maybe I'll buy
Let's go back
one.
down to the center real quick. We're standing by the railroad tracks now, looking at
Nice.
the town of McCormick downtown sign right here by the railroad tracks.
God damn.
Yeah. We're sitting on a gold mine, and they are, folks.
Choice. You know what? I'm gonna have
Come on
to.
down here and check this town out.
I'm gonna save that. I have a thing, and it's probably an old age thing. I adore these small towns. They're kind of like me, just old. So let's see here. There we go. Well, let's play this.
One, two.
Wow. Well, who does this remind you of?
One, two.
Well, that's enough of that. Hey, what's up, Speak? I was up. I've been up for a while and can't fall asleep, so I figured I would just bore everybody. And this is Sin 7 Sin's new favorite thing to look at, apparently. Let's see here. Gotta share this. Oh, here we go. Wait, a robot slap? Holy shit. Oh, that wasn't hard.
If Power Slap added robots to the league,
1, 2.
So, do they do high school competitions? I had no idea that. Well, I've seen slap fights. I've never seen a robot slap fight. That is weird. So, I have been saving this, and I was gonna do a show yesterday, and just didn't do the show I wanted to do. So, let's see who I'm gonna piss off with this stuff. So this is a manosphere thing, and hopefully, what's up, CKJ3? Oh, by the way, you just reminded me I must do this. Thanking you, CKJ3, for sponsoring the show. Well, yesterday's show, which didn't quite happen, it kind of did. But let me thank the sponsors of this show, because I would forget. So, Dirty Dude, hopefully you're feeling better. Dirty Dude is, kind of been, well, very under the weather, and I'll let him, if you don't already know, but salute to Dirty Dude for supporting the show. And I know he's in pain. Salute to him. And the Admiral, the CKJ3, thank you. Dude, y'all are so kind in sponsoring this show. I cannot thank you enough for tolerating this foolishness. So salute to you both. Were you? I didn't know. Hopefully you're feeling better now, Speak. Glad you got through it. This is conservative women are leaving the new right, and they are pissed. Sorry, it will bore everyone, but I'm interested. So sorry. And please sponsor the show. Support this host by supporting this show. The Sovereign Beer Fund is open for investment today. And let's hear why these feminists are leaving the new right.
So we're here to talk about an article that you saw that got you going on a flurry of rabbit holes around the same topic. So Jane, could you kind of tee us up? Let us know what we're talking about today.
This is a fantastic piece from New York Magazine entitled "The Women Leaving the New Right." It's by Sam Adler-Bell. He's an independent journalist who writes for a bunch of outlets. And I was struck because this is something I think you and I have been interested in independently, and then we talk about it together, which is the women who attempt to adhere to the right. It's not new. This is a long-standing part of the movement of women who support the movement, even while the movement tries to either push them away or wield them as weaponry against liberalism, or they have to basically deny themselves and who they are in their actual political power while pretending like, oh, I'm just a nice housewife who bakes cookies. Also, I run this massive political organization.
Right, the Schlafly.
Exactly. But I was fascinated because this piece is about women who have joined the new right and recognize finally that the misogyny that they took as part and parcel of rejecting state liberalism or some sort of means by which they could, basically trigger the libs, that like the right was not kidding at all. And so, for instance, there's a woman who is anonymous in the piece who says that she was not attracted to the right by the romanticized aesthetic of traditional America, big, beautiful houses and bread making and families with half a dozen children. Rather, she says, quote, I was in love with the frisson of transgression. The online right had begun to engage more explicitly with forbidden subjects, nativism, race science, and gender essentialism drawn from evolutionary psychology. Quote, There was an element of narcissism, she says, the sense that you could know secret things that other people don't know. And I'm like, that's conspiracy theory, but neither here nor there. But this woman, she goes to events and people are like, stop talking, woman.
Mhm.
And there's a real sense where all of these women are surprised to learn that the misogyny isn't a bit.
Right.
It's real. They
Mhm.
really do feel this
That
way.
women are less than men, just
Yes.
inherently subhuman, and yeah, that's real.
And so there's another part of the piece, and I wanted to talk with you about this in a couple of different ways, because the piece finds that, quote, the new rights approach to women is a pincer movement. On one side are reactionary traditionalists attempting to reestablish women's abject dependence on men in marriage. On the other are champions of male sexual license and domination, encouraging young men to see women as subhuman playthings. Taken together, the person they're quoting says, the MAGA movement is, quote, insisting that women subject themselves entirely to male authority while advertising that male authority will be cruel and vicious and fickle. And in reality, they're all on the same team. So there are a couple parts of this. One is, I think that there are people who think that this kind of misogynistic language, the way in which the repeal the 19th thing is like, I think that people have, deluded themselves into believing that this isn't real, that it's an internet thing, that it is a internet cesspool, an example of something that no one actually listens to. But I'd like us to listen to a clip from Scott Yenner, who now runs the B. Kenneth Simon Center for American Studies at the Heritage Foundation, and who said
What's up,
this in
Calvin?
November of 2021.
Every effort must be must be made not
Wait,
to
hold
recruit
it.
women
Hold
into
on.
engineering,
What on
but rather
earth?
to recruit and demand more of men who become.
Okay, ma'am. I know the name Lana Del Rey. Where are you going with this, Miss Sin? Lana Del Rey. Leaving the new right is a product of what a pleasant surprise. Okay, Calvin. Women should be forced to mate with incels. Is that what your economics professors taught you?
Engineers. Ditto for med school and the law and every trade. If every
Oh, my
Nobel
Lord.
Prize winner is a man, that's not a failure. It's kind of a cause for celebration. Why can't our celebration of male excellence in sports be translated into all facets of life? More successful men will mean more happy citizenry and a stronger nation. Such medicated, quarrelsome, and meddlesome women gain their meaning through the seeming participation in the global project. They are agents of the new world, but not new life. Such women are now the backbone of every left-wing cosmopolitan party in the Western world, from the Greens in Germany to the Democratic Party in America. And if our ideal woman is a childless media scold or a barren bureaucratic apparatchik, there is no question whether we can have a future. We can't. There is a question of whether we deserve one.
Wow, I'm sorry. I'm going to be a bitch for a second, but so you have a lisp. I'm just saying, like, I don't care, but you do. You do. You are like some bastion of masculinity, and you sound like a minor character in Winnie the Pooh. Like, come on, man. Like, what do you can't, don't talk to me like you're pretty. You know? That's
I'm
all.
medicated and quarrelsome, so maybe that's just what I'm going through.
I
but,
mean, yeah.
I want to quote from The Atlantic. Yenner believes that employers should be legally permitted to discriminate against women in the workplace, and has advocated for legal changes that would allow businesses to support traditional family life by hiring only male heads of households or by paying a family wage, that is, denying women jobs solely on the basis of their sex or paying men more for performing the same job as women. He also believes that governments should be allowed to prepare men for leadership and responsible provision while preparing women for domestic management and family care. Now, I bring this up.
Actually, that would not be so much of a problem if they could actually deliver on that promise. So we're going to educate men to be, superstars or leaders or whatever. How about meet that obligation? It's they have do the shit. And I don't know. Some of it is on the men, but I've listened to half wits all night talking about, everything from dead babies to Stanley. Dude, I listened to Solid Snake and Solid Snake level half wits about everything from dead babies to Stanley's an idiot. It was amazing. And too bad Deacon Dave isn't here, because I've learned a goddamn no motherfucker. Solid Snake Megabyte, you gonna have to go find Solid Snake because he won't be on this show. There are going to be some losses from. I only have 330 subscribers. It's gonna go down because I can't deal with this kind of half-wittery. Here's a funny thing about people like Solid Snake. They will talk to you about being a simp while being a simp on a weird woman's panel. I've fucking had enough. I always say I'm never going on other people's panels. And I keep going against my best judgment. I got my ass handed to me by morons and women associating me with shit. It was a fucking mess. And Solid Snake was the center of the vortex, and the fucking degenerate Lenny was egging this bullshit on, and I am unhappy. I'm unhappy with some degenerate black men, and there's going to be pushback. I'm not exactly sure how, but God damn it, I'm concerned, and thank God these degenerates can be confined or contained on YouTube. We should not let them out into the wild to deal with our dear loved ones, children, etc. Keep all these fucking weirdos on YouTube panels. Don't let them out into the wild. Don't worry about it, Dave. I'm just whining and licking my wounds.
To talk, because this is real. This is a person. Heritage Foundation has a massive voice within conservative politics, within the Trump administration. But something that the author of the Atlantic piece got at that I'm interested in talking to you about is the idea of how women get to be defined. Where, they're very mad about girl bosses. They're very mad about quarrelsome women. But I'm like, are they mad about?
Do not let yourself be defined by black YouTube, the wildest wake-up shelter. Don't go there. Do not let them define you, Queen.
Susie Wiles?
Mm-hmm.
Are they mad about?
Well, no, I think that's a great question. It's something I think about a lot. And it got touched on a little bit in this New York Magazine piece where I don't remember who it was. It was a woman who went, she was named in the piece, and she had also been drawn to the movement because she kind of got tired of like woke schools online.
I'm sorry,
but basically
the wildest
she said
wake up women's shelter.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You fucking wake up. Oh man. I'm probably the only one laughing at this bullshit. It's like, before I come into the women's shelter, I'm gonna take off my shoes. And then, dude, there's a motherfucker driving a trash truck on a YouTube panel, and the motherfucker can't mute. it's like no one can hear themselves talking on the panel because this motherfucker is following a trash truck and hasn't figured out how to mute his goddamn phone. Beep, beep, beep. It is hilarious. The wildest wake up women's shelter.
Never mind. Just forget what I just said. Oh, yes. Basically said that as long as you're doing the bidding of the
What's up,
movement,
Mariah?
you can kind of act however you
Good to
want
see
to act.
you.
But the second you disobey them, the second you fall out of line, the second you do something that they don't want you to do, the second you stop acting like an appendage, they freak out. Like, you know, they would with a malfunctioning remote control. Like, they don't really see women as fully autonomous human beings who should be allowed to make their own decisions. And when a woman is making decisions that are in line with theirs, then it's fine. But when it's not, then it's not fine.
It's also interesting because I think that there's another point I want to get at, which is obviously this is politically important, but I think it's also culturally important. And something that I don't think gets talked about enough in this is, and I'm going to quote from a great Substack piece that I read called Ugly Girls Need to Eat Too, What the Women Shouldn't Work crowd Don't Realize. And so there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about the manosphere and online misogyny, but it's interesting because they don't mean women. They don't mean all women. They mean a very specific group of women. This woman uses an example of someone she runs a business. And she finds out that many of her clients are hardcore right-wing ultra MAGA types who hate women and never want to work with women, but they work with her just fine because they don't think of her as being a woman. And I'm going to quote here from the Substack piece. When these women talk about women and what they should do and how they should look and act, they are only talking about females between 18 and 25 who are probably white, possibly Asian, thin, bubbly, with long flowing hair, and rock the clean girl aesthetic. Basically, only the girls they want to fuck. It's
sounds
horny
like
posting
many
cleverly disguised as life advice, driving the
on
women who don't
YouTube
meet the fuckability
panels and
criteria to
chat.
anger. And I think it's so interesting that this is, you know, the manosphere is so focused on talking about a specific type of woman. And this goes to a point that the Substacker Cartoons Hate Her has made, which is that gender slop, gender war, is often talking about class. In that Yenner clip, he's talking about quote unquote girl bosses. He's not talking about women who have service economy jobs, women who are nurses, women who do every type of job. And so I think my concern here, and I'm interested in your thoughts, is how the politics of this play into this idea of women participating in the world only as a specific thing that right-wing men are mad at, while right-wing men completely ignore the vast majority of women.
Well, I mean, I have to say, as I've gotten older, I've really appreciated being ignored by more and more right-wing men every single year. It's been really freeing. I am maybe a little bit optimistic about this just because I've been in I was there when the dark magic was written. You know, I was on the web during woke 1.0, as it's called now, and I witnessed the sort of dogmatism and rigidity and sometimes stridency and sometimes participated in it of online woke liberals. And I use woke in a I'm scared. I don't mean it the way that, you know what I'm saying. And I totally see where some of these women were coming from. Like these women saying like, oh, you know, I just thought I couldn't be transgressive or I couldn't ask questions that weren't like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I see this latest rear up of ultra misogyny as a sort of like extinction burst from an ideology that we all know is a failed ideology. And that to me is like the patriarchy and capitalism. Like we can see, I think a lot of people now can see and know, and even men in this movement see and know, even if they're maybe not acknowledging it, they see and know that men should not be in charge. They see and they understand that men should not be in charge. Like men that you are even recounting that are members of the movement that have elevated themselves to these like positions of like preachers and whatever, they're still not capable of removing their like overwhelming desire to think about fucking in the way they approach the world. They cannot move through the world rationally. They are driven insane by their inability to not think about fucking.
Yeah,
they can't.
A video from an Australian makeup.
Well, I hate to I should have reminded or informed everyone. These are women talking against the manosphere. So forgot to mention that part, but if you need to go to the Wildest Wake Up Women's Shelter, it opens tomorrow morning.
Company with women dancing at work caused them to lose their minds for what, 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, that to me is a weakness of that type of masculinity. If you cannot overcome this tendency that you have to view everything through the lens of fuckability, then that's actually like, that's not a good attribute.
No.
That doesn't mean the world
It
needs to
sounds
be
disabling.
It
Like,
does.
It
That's
sounds
what
genuinely disabling. It seems
exactly.
like I remember reading something where someone described how right-wing men see women they're not attracted to as traffic cones, where it's just like they're not there, they just
Mhm.
don't exist. And so the world becomes entirely this idea of
Well,
women
sorry.
women who have sex with 1,000 people, which that doesn't happen, or
Right.
just non-existent people.
Non-existent people. But the traffic cone thing is why I think that women should actually do more crimes.
Mm.
Most detectives are men.
Yeah.
They don't even notice women they don't want to fuck. Unfuckable women. Let's go do some crimes, guys. I mean, it to me is like you said, it's disabling and it removes some of your ability to exist fully in the world and to not understand that state of mind and that state of existence isn't actually aspirational. Men shouldn't want to live like that. Why would you want to live like that?
It
Why would you
sounds-
want to be such a slave to your own hormones?
It sounds exhausting.
It sounds exhausting. And I
And-
think to navigate the world, there's something that I picked out on in the New York Magazine piece where this woman who was a member of the group had talked about the value of the labor of care work and the labor of motherhood, and how she slowly realized that this wasn't a movement that took motherhood and understood its importance. It's something that looked down on everything women did.
Right.
And like men shouldn't do any of it because they're better than women.
Yes, and that doing those things is bad. Like
Mhm.
it's not even elevating motherhood to some sort of
Uh,
pedestal. which
yeah,
is bad in a
actually,
different
I
way.
am.
It's just like everything that takes
You want me to
place in the home
explain it
is
to you?
bad. But also that's all women should do because women are bad. And it's
I'm
interesting also to
upsetting
me
the chat.
that you can kind of
Hey,
tell
salute,
that
Nate.
you were talking about kind of the death throes of this misogynist movement, because even the women who voice the most vociferous support for it, someone like Helen Andrews, who wrote a ton about how the workplace
Kelvin,
is too feminized.
The Wildest Wake
also
Up
does
Women's
this, but not
Shelter
me.
opens
Not me.
tomorrow morning.
I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. I'm in this. So there's a real not like other girls thing happening here.
Mhm.
But something else I wanted to get to, because we've talked about, there's the politics of this. There's a way in which men's fucking hormones mean that they are hyper focused on one particular type of woman who
and men in this movement
Men in this
specifically,
movement
and the way they're lionizing this way of looking at the world.
and a specific type of woman and ignoring all other types of women. There's another piece of this, which is and I'm kind of surprised that I've only seen one piece in the conservative media about the subject, which is this is from National Review from November 2025,
Mhm.
which is talking about how there's been a lot of conversation about Democrats and their struggles with young men, but quote, on the other side of the aisle is the less discussed fact that the Republican Party is enduring a more severe version of the Democrats' demographic crisis. The GOP has lost an even greater share of female voters under 30. Even less discussed is the fact that while Democrats are struggling, albeit pitifully, to win back young men, the right doesn't seem to realize the seriousness of its own predicament, much less have a plan to fix it. But instead of panic or urgency about this, common reactions in conservative media and even GOP circles after these kinds of electoral drubbings include mockery, disdain, and general disregard. You've probably seen it before. Pundits joking / not joking that the 19th Amendment was a mistake. Legislators dismissing the entire bloc, women, as sad, childless spinsters. Certain commentators claiming, based on electoral results, that there is no greater enemy of Western civilization than the young woman. And TV and podcast hosts ridiculing young female voters for being generally stupid. And it's interesting because the piece makes the point that like this attitude, my candidate isn't the problem, the voters are. They make the point of like, this is what we see when a minority bloc votes for Republicans. But Republican, it pretty much points out the fact that while all of this is happening, while there is so much gender slop, gender war happening within the right, while the right at no point
the
has,
way,
there's been a lot of
if this is tilting the manosphere force to the dark side, I think I posted the link. Come up, fellas. Let's push back. Tell me how this is upsetting the balance of the force. Because there's more manosphere shit coming up. Your manosphere includes Leonard and fucking 12th Man and Solid Snake. All those motherfuckers are manosphere, including the Wildest Wake Up Women shelter folks. Motherfuckers, those are manosphere. Dave, they're your manosphere too.
Talk among the right about issues with anti-Semitism, about issues with racism, but this New York Magazine post makes a point that like misogyny is just kind of like, what are you gonna do?
Save us, Snake.
There's no thought about why would women vote for this. Like not like women who go to TQUSA conference, not women who are already super into this for whatever reason, but the idea that even if you were a conservative-minded woman who perhaps
exists, there are women who think like this, and there are men
had concerns about the border,
who think like you all.
If you saw Jesse Waters screaming about how you're a dumb slut, why would you vote for that? Why would you do that?
Well, here's the thing. That is an expression of the fact that they truly believe what they truly believe the misogyny. It's not a joke. Because if they actually thought women were rational individuals, it would occur to them like, oh, they're not going to vote for this. Oh, but they're like, misogyny is so blinding to them that they can't understand that they still need to win. Women still can vote.
Yes.
And they still need to win them over. And like, we can watch the same TV they can watch.
The takeaway is you should know what they're thinking.
Maybe this is like controversial, but I actually think women tend to be more emotionally perceptive than men as a group, not every individual woman and every individual man, but you know what I'm saying. And I think that women can perceive the disdain. I think that there are men in conservative spaces that think they're really slick and think that they're able to say one thing in front of their boys and then one thing in front of a more general audience. And then the more general audience they'll just completely tune out when they're talking to their boys. They won't even pick up on what they're putting down. And I don't think that women, especially there's a type of woman who is like a traditionally conservative, church-going, probably white, suburban woman who's a mother and has children, who really values her role as a mother, who finds it extremely important to her life. And I mean, I do too. I'm a mother. Like it's the most important thing I've ever done because there are two people that depend on me. You know what I mean? Not because it's the most important work, but these people directly depend on me. And if I fuck up, two people are really fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It feels very important to me. And even if I came from a different political background, or if I had a different set of beliefs or values, I would still take umbrage at the suggestion that the work of motherhood was not valuable.
Right.
Not the most valuable, not the only valuable thing, but like valuable and important and worthy. And in a way, I think that like the vocation of motherhood, of parenthood in general, if you're called to it, it is so, you understand like how hard it is, and how much you need to be there for your family, because and how serious it is.
You are engaging in motherhood and in parenting as it is. It's not a meme. It's not a thing you just wield at people and start screaming about, because the people who do so
do. But I think most people do. Like most people who would traditionally vote for Republicans, women who are conservative women, maybe very, very strongly pro-life women, because they think that motherhood is very fucking important.
Right.
Like, and they, you know.
But I think they can also see when people don't think it is. And I think that they can see that the people who are palling around with Nick Fuentes, who thinks that all women should either be, either nuns, mothers, or
he's
fuck
a virgin
slaves.
Who can't drive. I mean, come on.
But I think that there's a degree to which you can see that, like, oh, they mean me too. Like they mean you as well.
They mean
like,
their own mothers. They mean their own sisters and friends and girls they're trying to have sex with and girls they have had sex with or haven't had sex with and girls who rejected them. That's everybody.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
They mean it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing about this piece that struck me. It was just like women who were attracted to the transgressiveness, not realizing that they meant it the whole time. They meant it. Scott Yanner means it. The people who are so confused of why women are fleeing from this movement and from the GOP writ large, they don't seem to realize that, no, we can see that you meant it. We can see that there isn't an exception. We can see that you meant it this whole time and you will continue to do so. And it's just something to watch people see through their own experiences that they meant you too.
Have you ever heard of an idiot plot? You know
I
what an
have.
idiot plot is?
Yeah.
Okay. An idiot plot for people who are our audience who don't know is a type of storytelling device where all the problems would be solved if the characters just weren't idiots.
Right.
And I think that this problem that the post-Trump MAGA world is having, post-Trump conservatism,
Yeah.
because they are clearly looking post-Trump at this point, it is an idiot plot. If they
Right.
were just not idiots about the way that they treat gender, because I believe that like misogyny is an idiotic ideology.
Right.
It is just stupid.
Like,
Like
it requires you also to just believe so many things that are just obviously not true.
not true. Exactly. But in order to preserve your
Yeah.
own sense of entitlement and status in the world, you
Right.
must believe things that your eyes are and experiences are telling you
So
are not
yes,
true.
GOP misogyny is an idiot.
It
plot,
is an idiot plot.
and yet they're just gonna keep doing it.
They're going to keep doing it. I mean, look, Always Sunny has been on TV for like 19 seasons or something. So idiot plots can take you a long way.
It's true.
All right. Well, that was sunny and pleasant. and I want to hear more. So let's see what else is playing at the wildest Wake Up Women's Shelter. Surely there's more. Oh, here we are. Now I have to say this. I have been in love with this woman forever. Audie Cornish. The woman is a breath of fresh air and sunshine, all in a smile. This woman is wonderful. So
Audie Cornish, and
there shall be no negative talk. Absolutely none. I will not brook it.
is the assignment, and today we're talking about men. So I'm going to show you some.
Dirty dude, salute. Hopefully you're feeling
talking about the
better,
manosphere.
Are you even in the manosphere?
Well,
Not
no.
really.
I guess so. Everybody in the manosphere is just people online who are trying to make a buck, selling ideologies.
Louis Theroux's recent Netflix documentary, Inside the Manosphere, features conversations with alpha male influencers, bringing the content of the red-pilled corner of the internet into the mainstream in a different way. And my guest today says that the heat of the spotlight could really change things.
I truly do think the biggest thing is seeing all of these manosphere type figures in charge of our country and seeing like, oh no, I don't like this at all. This is not going well. I miss the hall monitors.
This is Jessica Gross. She is an opinion writer for the New York Times. And for more than a decade, she has tracked the rise of the so-called manosphere, going all the way back to Gamergate, to the charges against Andrew Tate, to the Netflix limited series Adolescence. So in her latest piece, she argues that this might be the beginning of the end of the cultural phenomenon known as the manosphere. We're going to talk about what that means for the rest of us who are parenting through it. Stay with us. To help people wrap their arms around this at this point, what do you consider the manosphere? I would just describe it as like a social media ecosystem. And then I realized that's way too broad.
I mean, I think it's accurate. I would say it is a loose collective of podcasters, streamers, social media personalities who tend to espouse conservative views on gender roles. And there's a broad range of people that you could categorize as part of the manosphere. I don't think any of them self-identify.
Hey, let me show you something that this Speak Radio, that dude is, man, he kind of, dude, I love this background, and he made a thumbnail as well. This is fucking awesome. This man is much too kind to the likes of me. Take a look at this. Wow, I fucking love it. This is This is awesome. It's what I do every day, even in the summertime. I do have a nice chair. I do have books. I don't have a fireplace in this house, but salute to Speak Radio. The gentleman is much too kind. Yeah. It is so good to have show supporters like this. Too much, too kind. And he gets my nerdy Frederick Douglass wannabe dumbass. So salute. You need Imperious? Why, Sin? From a 5-word prompt. No idea what that means. No, I'm the dumbass. He's the genius, NA. He kind of, treats dumbasses like me like they're serious content creators. That's what I'm trying to say. So, Imperious? Yeah, she needs her some Imperious. I think she needs to be empiricized. So let's get back to the manosphere bashing. No, you know what? That's the thing, Kelvin. He literally, I'm gonna have to cash app him. No, he literally, he did it gratis. That's why the man is so awesome. He's like, hey, you know what? Take a look at this. Speak Radio might be the kindest of all you mofos. This dude, and I also have to say that Tough Guy's been real nice. He's given me a couple of his songs, and these aren't AI songs, they're actual songs with people playing instruments. And Speak Radio, this kind of talent, I can't do. I can't even do AI like this. So I appreciate the creative folks that kind of help an old man out. And bless their hearts.
Identify that way.
I was about to say, because there's some progressive dudes that I consider part of the manosphere, because my definition is so poor. My definition is like, are you a man talking? Like, is there not do you have a podcast?
Look at those eyes.
It's because for the media, especially the mainstream political media, there was this big awakening watching Trump in the 2024 election have this facility with that world. Now it feels like this world is taking another kind of quarter turn in its evolution.
Well, I do think that the Trump moment was a little bit of a mirage in terms of how influential like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn were necessarily over voters. Though. I think people were really unhappy financially in 2024, right? And so
up,
how much was the impact of these individual podcasters or seeming to have this sort of human relationship with these podcasters?
Might have been
or was it just Trump captured the disaffection of lots of people, specifically young men who were turned off by a variety of things, throw racism and sexism into that pile, and whether those podcasters captured that. I mean, here's what I'm going to tell you. We are in such a fragmented media universe. No one knows. Nobody knows what's influential anymore. And that,
Oh, that
I'm sure
goddamn
lots
Audie
of
Cornish. I'm
advisors
sorry
to
I
Democrats
watched
and Republicans are making
It's
so much
just
money right
level.
now saying, go on this
It's
podcast. No,
look,
this is really
y'all
what's
don't
influential.
know who
And
she
I,
is.
pay very
Audie Cornish was an NPR radio news person for decades. I think I'm not going to look up her age, but she's pretty much in my age range. But I've been listening to her for years, and she's on CNN now. The woman is just fucking brilliant. She is actually smart. So anyway, I'm simping, but I'll never meet her.
close attention to polling influence. Nobody knows anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that is what has become incredibly clear to me in the past, 2 years. It's really harder than ever to track what is the, trigger that, even gets someone to the ballot box in the first place, right?
So your most recent opinion article, you actually gave your own thoughts. It's not a review. It's kind of like a study of this new documentary that is on Netflix, right? About the manosphere. It's called Inside the Manosphere. And your thesis is actually that how this documentary approaches its subjects is actually the first step into the downfall of the manosphere. And because it's been a few weeks since it's been released, people have been watching it. I'm wondering if you still stand by that thesis.
I do. I really do. I thought Louis Theroux, who was the host and
Yeah, the documentary filmmaker.
he had a very sort of subtle way of asking them questions, which showed both the emptiness of whatever their views were and also their cowardice. He kept trying to get these men to answer questions in front of their girlfriends and mothers.
Yes,
And
and I
every
actually
time,
read an interview in the Times about that, how he considers that a strategy of like, with your interview subjects, they may talk a big game, and then when you pull someone in the room who really knows them, they're kind of caught in between.
Exactly. So, there's one manfluencer that he talks to, whose name is Myron.
Manfluencer is hilarious every time I hear it.
His name's Myron Gaines, and he's talking this big game about how I'm going to have multiple wives and never be faithful to anyone. And then Theroux questions him about this.
Hey, let me pause this right quick to bring to you the latest stupidity. So Trump announces naval blockade of Iran after Islamabad talks yield no deal. So this motherfucker is going to block the Straits of Hormuz? What the fuck? So now we're not going to let oil through? How does this fucking shit? This dude's a moron.
What if you could see your
story written by Susanna George and Shaikh Hussein and read by Bria, an AI-generated voice.
Islamabad, Pakistan. After marathon overnight talks between the United States and Iran failed to clinch a deal on U.S. terms, President Donald Trump on Sunday announced the imposition of a naval blockade on Iran.
Hey, Mike, of course you're going to shout out the stupidity. So Iran was blocking the straits, but no, they can't block the straits. We're going to block the straits. Dude, this is like the dumbest, the most pitiful response because Iran won't do what we want them to do. Dude, Iran is saying, fuck you. And so you're going to take over the blockade of the Straits of Hormuz for Iran? We're going to blockade it better? Dude, the head of your life is a moron, Mike.
A move that could derail a tenuous 2-week ceasefire reached just 5 days ago. Effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh my
Trump
God.
posted Sunday on Truth Social, his social media site. The president also said he had instructed the Navy to interdict all ships that have paid a toll to Iran for traversing the strait, calling Tehran's expanded control of the waterway extortion. Trump did not provide details about the blockade, which in the short term, at
Extortion?
least, might risk
What is he
worsening a
talking
war-driven global energy crisis by halting all cargo traffic through the strait. While Iran would potentially suffer the most economically, so would the rest of the world, especially nations in Asia, which rely heavily on oil and gas,
So Trump has
petrochemicals, and
decided
other
to
essentials shipped from the
blockade
Persian Gulf.
world?
The tight geography could also make naval operations in the Gulf perilous. U.S. ships could be vulnerable to attack.
Okay, well, it used to be Stanley versus the world, but I have been blockaded, folks. It's Trump versus the world. The fuck? This dude is literally limited at best. He is the new Biden, except he's bolder than Biden. He's going to weaponize his senility.
Attacks by small craft, as well as drones and missiles. Trump in his post said other countries would be involved in imposing the blockade, but offered no specifics. In his post, Trump cited disagreement over Iran's nuclear program as the main sticking point. The meeting went well, most points were agreed to, but the only point that really mattered, nuclear, was not, he wrote. Trump's announcement came just hours after the talks concluded, and a statement by Vice President J.D. Vance, the top U.S. negotiator, indicating that Trump still expected Tehran to surrender. When Vance briefed reporters shortly before leaving the Pakistani capital on Sunday, he suggested the U.S. remained open to a diplomatic solution, but only if Iran accepts a proposal that he described as our final and best offer. We just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible, Vance told reporters around 6:30 a.m. local time. He did not respond to shouted questions about whether fighting would resume in what had become an increasingly unpopular and economically damaging war for Trump and the world. Before Trump's announcement of the blockade, Iranian officials also indicated they remain open to diplomacy, but their top negotiator, Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, suggested that Washington must make the next move. America has understood our logic and principles, and now it's time for it to decide whether it can earn our trust or not, Ghalibaf posted on X. Iranian negotiators raised forward-looking initiatives, he said, but the opposing side ultimately failed to gain the trust of the Iranian delegation. After more than 20 hours of the highest-level face-to-face engagement between Iranian and U.S. officials in decades, it was unclear if the two sides would be able to bridge the expansive gaps in their positions before the ceasefire expires in 10 days, or if Trump's blockade would force Iran to offer concessions, or perhaps the opposite, and reignite hostilities. Earlier on Sunday, Trump foreshadowed his plan for naval blockade by sharing an article on social media headlined, "The Trump Card the President Holds If Iran Won't Bend, a Naval Blockade." The article, from the website Just the News, suggested Trump would replicate his naval blockade of Venezuela, which preceded the U.S. military operation to seize the country's leader, Nicolas Maduro. Control of the Strait of Hormuz emerged as one of the most important issues in contention during the talks in Pakistan. Negotiators also discussed the future of Iran's nuclear program and Tehran's demand that the U.S. unfreeze billions of dollars in Iranian assets, according to a Pakistani official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to detail sensitive closed-door discussions. Since the outbreak of war, Iran has effectively shut the strait, a narrow passageway that is vital to global energy supplies, a move that has wreaked havoc on global energy markets. Tehran mined parts of the strait.
Yeah, I think this is not the best move, but then I'm not president of the United States. I'm going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt, but I have big doubts that I'm giving him the benefit of. Just not convinced that he is firmly in control. Just not convinced.
Fantasy in front of his girlfriend, and he immediately backtracks.
That's a bridge we'll cross when we get there. Like right now,
That mean? That's so avoidant.
it's It's something you never know, man. You can always change your mind down the road. Who knows? Maybe I'll say, I only just want to be with one girl because the two would be too tough.
You've backtracked on that already.
And so for the viewer watching it, you see the sort of bravado, the emptiness. And then you also see many of these influencers sort of escalate in their behavior because it's attention. It's an attention economy. They're very aware that they just need to continue keeping their audience's attention. So it goes from just saying, terrible things about women, about many different kinds of ethnic minorities, to literally beating people up in the streets. Like you're just escalating the behavior to an absurd degree.
Because you have to create stunts. And that's something the documentary reveals. And again, we're talking about the corner of the manosphere of these live streamers or Looksmaxers or whatever. But people who, I don't think I'm talking about random doctors here. I'm sort of talking about this world of young men flexing and peacocking for other young men and using a lot of misogyny in the way they talk about straight relationships. And there's this one in particular, I guess it's at HS Tiki Talkie, where the documentarian is sitting with him and just says, why don't you, try being good? Like sort of, what's the thinking here? And he actually pauses for a beat. And he says something like, I don't think I would have the attention I would if I was just a good guy online. And he's not wrong.
To me, there's sort of no belief system beyond attention and money for this group of the manosphere. Whereas if you go back 10, 15 years, which is, when most people cite the sort of origins of the manosphere, they really at least were genuinely racist and anti-Semitic. It's like, I'm not saying that was better.
No, but Jordan Peterson, right? Philosopher. Like he was like, I have a set of beliefs. I'm teaching you how to live. I'm referencing other philosophies. Like this is almost an academic exercise for the masses to enjoy. Some of the most famous and established ones at this point, you're right. They have a foot in that tradition.
I also think it's like we're lumping in a lot of different people together.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, someone like Andrew Huberman, who I've listened to his podcast, it's mostly decent, scientifically backed information, right?
Yeah.
I think often because these people at least portray themselves to be socializing with each other. So it's like he goes on Rogan's podcast. This is how they promote each other and get more attention. It's sort of a guilt by association thing where I don't know this man's personal views, but I'm just glad he's pro-vaccine at this point. Like the bar is in hell.
There's a couple lanes here, right? There's to me little Gen Z leaning, digital natives who there's a little bit of a grift vibe.
Yes.
But there is also this world of true believers. And to me, the true believers take some ideas and very much are trying to execute policy. So whether that's pronatalism and some of the policies that, some certainly feminists would feel are regressive, whether you're having alpha male boot camps, sort of in real life, people to, I don't know what, because real boot camp exists, or the people, as we mentioned, in the White House, in the military, who are like, look, recruitment is booming because we are presenting a more like masculine, de-wokeified military. There is a world of people who have taken that energy and brought it to policy.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the true believers of at least different threads of the manosphere are currently in our federal government, which paradoxically makes it less popular among teenage boys.
Hey, that's pretty funny, Mike.
Of counterculture anymore.
Ooh, good word, New York Times. Can you talk about the counterculture element of that? Because I do think we underestimate the appeal of a world where people felt they had no boundaries.
I like them, especially
after many
Ari
years
Cornish.
of being locked
She's a
down
girl.
physically, and then so they would argue rhetorically.
That is something that I don't know where it's going. Like, I don't know what the next thing is going to be that is going to provide that same feeling. But I truly do think the biggest thing is seeing
in
all of
many
these
ways,
manosphere
uh,
type figures
your
in charge
boy.
of our country
He's not
and seeing
mine.
like, oh no,
And
I don't like this
let
at
me
all.
also educate you, young man. What does a president have but his politics? The dude was an Indian killer who dislocated Cherokees from my home state of Georgia, forced them west to Oklahoma. He's a badass, but not in a good way. He's just bad. So celebrate his politics. You don't have to. Are you celebrating his brutality? Is that the badass you like? The motherfucker killed Indians unnecessarily, by the way. Ugh. The people who don't know their American history, it's stunning sometimes.
This is not going.
Or you know the American history and you like him still. That's even more worrisome. The women are insufferable. Ooh, they said the same thing about Andrew Jackson on the Trail of Tears. He's insufferable.
Going well. I miss the hall monitors. Like, this isn't funny anymore.
I mean, certainly around the Iran war, right? Like when you see
Brutal,
how
tough,
there are
badass,
people
like a
talking
gangster.
in that community of listeners who are worried about the draft, for example, which there is no draft right now. As far as we know, there are not plans for a draft, but that anxiety surfacing so publicly was surprising to me.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I
you
think a
know what
majority
he
opinion
did,
of people
but
under
you
40
celebrate it
is that
anyway?
they do not want
Holy
America
fuck.
to be
You know
involved
it,
in
you
foreign
celebrate
conflicts
it?
that are not absolutely
Oh my
necessary.
God.
And
be
I
a
think
dickhead.
there is
You're
a lot of
just a
support
brute.
for Palestinian people and a lot of disgust with the way Israel has handled itself. And you see this across the board, men and women under 40, liberal, conservative.
It's a horseshoe politic issue.
Yes.
Where you really see on both extreme ends a displeasure that links them politically. I'm talking with Jessica Gross after the break. We're going to swap notes on parenting in the era of the manosphere. The other secret preoccupation of this show is how to raise my sons so they do not end up in one of my news stories. So come on a journey with me.
I
for
will.
a moment. Because you and I have both followed this story, and I feel as though I often feel like I don't want to do what we're doing now. I don't want to be two women talking about what those men are doing.
Yeah.
And that it's all inherently bad. Okay. So I generally kind of stay away from this kind of conversation.
Totally.
But I also wanted to talk to you because I heard you might have kids. And
I have
you
two
might,
girls.
You have two girls. Lucky you.
I have two girls.
Because it is hard to think about, like, how do I encourage their confidence?
Yeah.
How do I maintain that confidence? How do I teach them how to embrace rejection or pick themselves up? All of these things that I kind of honestly, maybe as a hetero woman, kind of was like, that's their problem. Sorry to that man. Suddenly feels like my problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
suddenly feels like how it's not just how do I make them into young men, but it's like, how do I make them into people who aren't ashamed of who they are? And that does include their gender.
Of course.
And one of the things that the manosphere types have often talked about is the sense that, like, boys and men are being made to feel ashamed of who they are and what they are and that sort of thing. And I don't always think that's completely wrong.
I think that's right. And I think that, as a parent, I think there's a number of things that you can do that are passive and it's just living your life. I think it's setting an example of how you and the men in your life who are adults treat each other, treat the kids, act in the world. I think that is the sort of most influential thing you can do. I mean, I keep seeing all of these people being like, we need a manosphere of the left. And it's like, no, like kids are going to admire who they're going to admire. Like this is a completely different, sort of thing, but it's like my older daughter absolutely loves Sabrina Carpenter. She's obsessed with her. The lyrics have me feeling like Tipper Gore. I'm just like, I don't.
I was just waiting for it. I was like, I don't think she's gonna be into this meta irony male gaze pop star. But
listen,
yes, go on.
But I have to let her, right? Like the second I start with my millennial feminist, she turns off immediately. She loves Sabrina Carpenter, and anything I say against her, she will just be mad about, right?
Yeah.
So I think we need to let our kids in general find what they like in pop culture. Listen, if it's Andrew Tate, you have a problem and you need to talk to your child.
Let me tell you, it's even simpler than that. I have conversations with them about consent that are not described as conversations about consent, right? They're under the age of 10. So they often go something like this. So-and-so wanted to hug me. And I'm like, oh, how was that? It's like a lot of inquiry. Well, I didn't mind, but I didn't want to. I'm like, okay, well, here's a little story. You never have to hug someone you don't want to hug. And you never are owed a hug. People don't have to give you things because you like them or because you've been friends before. Now, I'm going to say some other version of this 2 years from now and 4 years from now. But sometimes I wish there was more of a community that talked about these things that I could turn to. You know what I mean? That I could be like, hey, like, without somebody telling me like, oh, it's overblown. Actually, the girls are still struggling. Like it gets tied into a whole windfall of progressive grievances. Right. And really what you're trying to do is be like, no, I just want to make one that you're not going to hate. Like that's my mission here.
But I feel like just that you have that intention goes like 90% of the way, right? Because there's only so much you can control.
I guess the reason why I'm preoccupied with this is because I want to find a new way for women to have a voice in this conversation that isn't about harm and doesn't involve the word toxic the whole time. I do actually think that's alienating. And it doesn't feel, now that everyone has diagnosed the problem in such a profound way, I kind of want to move to the next step. And to me, that is related to our manosphere discussion, right? Like, we don't have to wait for another man to fill the gap.
Okay, so this is my spiciest take. I've never...
Give it to me.
I've never written it, and I may someday. I actually think we have moved beyond a place where we need all of these sort of separate girl-only spaces. I think a big part of the solution is forcing more coeducational hanging out. Because I think a lot of the sort of distrust and dislike of the other gender comes from a lack of exposure. And so I think getting kids to spend time with each other in like
low stakes time.
Yes.
Not the dance. Like
not
low
the
stakes.
Dance.
You're not here to pair up. You're not here to discover your sexuality.
100%.
Like try and have a conversation and see if you can function.
Yes. So more activities, like not sports, like they need the separate sports. Like I get that. I mean, my kids did co-ed soccer when they were really little and the boys simply would not pass to them. And I was like, this sucks. Like they're bummed out. Like it's not a good time. So I think, keep the sports what they are and the kids will certainly bond through that. But I think everything else, like maybe we don't need girls who code anymore. Maybe we have like just everybody together encouraged to the best of their ability and trust in the teachers or whatever adult is running a space to make sure that the kids involved of every background are getting the attention that they need. Because I do think we're at this moment where the more we separate, the more we're telling kids you need to be separated. And
why is that your spiciest take?
Oh, I think people who still are really into like, no, the girls need the separate things or their self-esteem is going to be bad, will be mad about it and will disagree with me, which is fine. Disagreement is, I'm an opinion writer. People disagree with me all the time. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are girls who still do need those spaces, but I increasingly feel like they don't. And they don't.
that when you have co-ed spaces, the conversation is more open to some of these spikier concepts. Like with your kid's soccer game, was there someone who should have been like, boys, pass, because you are actually bad players who don't know how to pass? Like, should that have been the coaching conversation rather than you being like, I got to put them back in a girls' league? Like, that's what I mean. Like,
let me do a commercial. Everyone, please make sure that you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please, I will certainly be losing some subscribers this week because I'm not done with my opinions about some of the fucking nitwits I've had to deal with in the past 24 hours. However, none of them are here, and that's a matter for tomorrow. Please support the show by supporting the host. The Sovereign Beer Fund is open, and I'm looking for contributions. It's probably in an hour or so. I'll need to make a beer order, and I can certainly do some Coors Light on the house. Give me 1 second, Trackable. Salute to you. Let me make a point. Deacon Dave says Stanley doesn't understand that these people hate men and don't know how the world works. Well, Dave, let me help you out. I don't give a fuck whether they hate men or not. I'm just listening to what they have to say because knowledge is power. Knowing what people are thinking, knowing what people are saying means I know how to counter an argument or support them if need be. The motherfuckers who keep talking about stoicism have no clue what stoicism is. Stoicism means understanding an argument so you can orient your morality, your being, your emotions. It's adjustment. Knowing what people are thinking, listening to what they're saying, not surviving in your hot house echo chamber. That's the whole point of this show. Knowing what people are saying allows you an effective counter argument. So stop your goddamn whining, you little pussy. Listen to what the women are saying so you know what they're saying. You can go to sleep, you can snooze, you can roll your eyes, but you're gonna know what they're saying one way or the other. Stop being a pussy and listen more, son. Salute, Untrackable. How you doing? You there? Oh, wait, hold it. You know what? Hold on 1 sec. I can't hear you, but I know why. Give me 1 sec here. Sorry about this. Huh. Hey, can you hear me, Untrackable? All right. You know what? I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. Somehow or another, my audio is screwed up. Be right back. Hey, Untrackable, can you hear me now? Can you folks in the audience hear me? because I'm not hearing untrackable, and I'm not exactly sure why I'm not.
Like, is
Yeah.
there
Okay, I can hear the audio on the video. Untrackable, are you there? Maybe your audio's not working. Hey, Untrackable, looks like they can hear me, but we can't hear you. So anyway, I'm done fussing, but dude, stop. Okay, Imperious, no one said Stoicism is emotionlessness. Stoicism is controlling your emotions, and also there's a moral component to it. My point is that you cannot meter or control or orient yourself emotionally, morally, or whatever if you don't know what you're confronting. That's my point. I know what fucking Stoicism is. I know who Marcus Aurelius is. I've read him in the Latin.
there's a level of dialogue that is not happening.
No, that's such a good point. That is such a good point. I abdicated.
No,
I
I'm
was
not
just
looking
like,
up right now.
I'm not saying that. I'm not just saying that. Like, to me, it feels like there's a way to talk about that without being like, boy.
I've been up all night. Actually, I haven't been up all night. I went to sleep relatively early, but only got a few hours sleep. So, but I'll just have to suffer through this day. I'm awake now and actually kind of enjoying the show. Apparently, I sound like a blithering idiot, but chalk it up to being old. Hey, Untrackable, are you there? You're mighty silent. We can't hear you. Hello, Untrackable. Well, maybe he had to leave.
Boys are bad and girls are good and this is meat and this is victim, and being like, hey, an all-rounder knows how to pass. And then that's not even gendered. You know what I mean? And but it would take like a level of kind of awareness that honestly we don't have as parents on the sidelines of any
It's
sport.
true.
We're
But I
deeply
feel like
unhinged watching our kids.
the root of the problem is that they don't see each other as fully human, right? Like I always see that as the root. It's like they're other in some way. And
Yes.
so exposure.
And we should just say this is not hyperbole. Like I have heard this kind of language from some of the high profile voices, as you said, of this kind of extreme end of the manosphere, where they use the phrase subhuman to talk about women.
and they're like women shouldn't vote.
Irrational. They shouldn't vote.
Yeah.
We'll hear
They
that
do?
more, frankly, listener, if you're listening closely, about repealing the amendments and all this stuff. And it's very jarring.
It's not great. I don't like it.
It's very jarring to hear that said out loud as though it is you know what? It's something to think about. You know what I mean? Like, should they be voting? And I'm like, why is this a dialogue? Don't you have something else to tackle? And it's real. So,
I feel like that goes back to, the root of, I think, so much of the problem with the dialogue goes back to the problems that were highlighted in the Manosphere documentary, which is like everything is attention. And so a nuanced, real discussion among actual human beings who are seeing each other's humanity and disagreeing politely is boring. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see.
You can't monetize that.
You can't monetize that. That is
No matter what
relational.
Ted Lasso told you, folks. As it turns out.
It's not entertainment. It's relational, right?
All right. Well, thank you for trying to hash all of this out with me. People can find your writing where?
At the New York Times. I write a weekly newsletter. So if they just Google New York Times Jessica Gross, they will find a way to subscribe to that newsletter. And my last name is spelled Grosd, which is unusual. You can find me on Instagram at Jess Gross Writes. And those are sort of my main places where I'm talking.
All right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for talking with me, giving me advice, helping me through this. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I don't know how much I helped, but I did try.
She tried, folks.
Right wing, famously.
So this is apparently there is a Manosphere documentary on Netflix, which I haven't watched and probably won't watch because I don't think I'm that interested. Probably I know more about the Manosphere just from being around its nitwits on YouTube, probably more than I want to know. But this is Louis Theroux, who, by the way, is the son of one of my favorite authors, Paul Theroux. This dude is like the greatest travel writer, at least in my opinion, in modern American letters. So he also wrote a couple movies. One of them's called The Mosquito Coast. It was an old Harrison Ford movie. I think it was the first movie Harrison Ford did after Star Wars, but I'm not sure about that. It's a great book. But anyway, Paul Theroux, the motherfucker is awesome. Great travel writer.
He's super muscular, fitness in.
Oh, this is his son who did the documentary on the Manosphere.
Influencer who streams and promotes content for a largely young male audience. And he needs to work on his calves.
I think that's why he was mad at you, is the calves. I'm just telling you. Hi, everyone from New York.
Actually, it would be interesting if someone who knows about the Manosphere did a documentary. Have you thought about doing that, Dave? I bet you'd be good at it. Knowing as much as you do about it.
Mark Magazine and the Vox Media Podcast Network. This is On with Kara Swisher, and I'm Kara Swisher. My guest today is documentary filmmaker Louis Theroux. We're talking about his new documentary, Louis Theroux, Inside the Manosphere on Netflix. And I wanted to have him on because I love talking about the Manosphere. Actually, I've been talking about it for years. It's one of the more disturbing and also nonsensical parts of online these days, both in streaming and on social media. Obviously, it's a lot of misogyny, a lot of homophobia, a lot of ridiculousness, a lot of muscles, a lot of steroids, it looks like. Anyway, it's an interesting area, and it's actually impacting a lot of young men who seem to look up to it and consume it in enormous amounts. It's as if a lot of our young people, especially it's mostly men, are eating Twinkies every day, and we wonder why they're insane. Actually, it's really important to look at these people, and Louis does a great job here. He kind of exposes them, but he's incredibly fair to them and depicts them quite correctly, which is, in many ways, you come off feeling that they're a bit pathetic in what they're doing, and at the same time, possibly conning young men, and at the same time, effective. So it's important to understand them, and this lets you do that. Louis Theroux, welcome to On.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
So I have to say, I've spent a lot of time with Manosphere people, probably at the top of the Manosphere, but your best line in the entire documentary is you could work on your calves. Yes. I was in awe of that. Did you do that on purpose? That is something I would do, and I loved it.
I can never predict what audiences will find amusing, and some of the time it's not necessarily even a joke. There's another moment where, as you'll know, perhaps from your familiarity with the streaming culture, that a big thing now is what they call pred stings, where streamers will apprehend people they accuse of being sexual predators live on stream. And then during an interview, because I'm interviewing one of these streamers, someone in the background on the streets is like, oh, he's doing a pred sting, he's a pedophile. And the guy I'm interviewing clarifies, no, this is Louis Theroux, not a pedophile. And I'd say, thank you for clarifying that. So anything that feels like it requires me to deliver a straight kind of normalish statement, but the circumstances are so surreal that it's totally bizarre when it comes out, is a helpful thing.
Explain who this is for people who don't know what the hell we're talking about.
So the documentary is about men of the manosphere. It's like it's the extreme end of the manosphere, and because the manosphere, I mean, we should get this out of the way. Like, it's a very broad term, which it to some extent exists in the eye of the beholder. So I chose deliberately to focus on the ones who are sort of in the mold of Andrew Tate. He's the most recognizable and famous figure of that scene. And they tend to be, so it's beyond, there's comedians, and then the mild end is people like Joe Rogan or Theo Von, or even people like Dana White or Trump himself, perhaps. But when you go further
Adam
deeper
Carolla.
into it,
Adam Carolla,
sure. And if you go deeper into it, you get these guys who are advocating not just for men being kind of take charge kind of guys with big muscles, but actually that women are inferior, that women, they probably wouldn't say
funny.
inferior, but they'd say women are weak.
What's up, cuzzo? That is funny. Good one, Yeti. You know what? That's God damn it. That's a show title.
Need to be led. Women don't think clearly. Women don't really want to be scientists, and they probably shouldn't vote. And so this is the milieu that these guys I was looking at inhabit. But a through line through the film is my relationship with a British guy called Harrison Sullivan, who streams under the name HS Tiki Toki. And so he's super muscular, fitness influencer who streams and promotes content for a largely young male audience. And he needs to work on his calves.
I think that's why he was mad at you. You said, "Are you okay?" The next day, it was the calves. I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you that information.
No, but
he was just
truthfully,
mad
though,
because
it was
you
one of the reasons.
him. It's called negging. N-E-G-G.
I did neg him. I mean, there's so much to get into. But truthfully, what really rattled him was that he, as a streamer, he was putting content of me interviewing him on his channels as we filmed, and then what was coming in was, "Dude, what are you doing? That's Louis Theroux. He's going to turn you over. He's going to expose you as a scammer and a fraud." And he didn't know, not to say that's necessarily what I was going to do, but that clearly freaked him out, and he'd had no idea who I was. And so he had kind of a little bit of buyer's remorse.
Yeah, because he can take all comers. He's that guy. But he's not. Actually, that's what you revealed. He's not that guy, that he can take all comers and no matter what. But let me start. Your documentaries often look at American subculture, fringe groups like neo-Nazis, the Westboro Baptist Church, the Church of Scientology. But you've called the Manosphere the final boss subject in a video game of my career. Talk about that. What does that mean and how come?
Well, I liked employing a video game metaphor because it felt apropos given the subject and the language that I was looking at. Like, these are guys who approach life like a video game. Like, they've gamified, in the tech world especially, everyone talks about everything's gamified. Duolingo is gamifying language learning. Whoops are gamifying fitness. But this takes the game metaphor and applies it to life. Like, the manosphere culture is about men are only as good as various metrics. How tall they are, how much money they have, how big their private parts are. Like, literally, like, you're supposed to be 666, the number of the beast. And so for me, but I guess the bigger point, though, and if I zoom out over the course of my career, like for 25 to 30 years, I've been making documentaries about subjects that get to the heart of what's most taboo and most forbidden in the way we see the world. So whether it's sort of sexual impulses, religious impulses, paranoid conspiracy theory impulses, like back in the 90s, it was militia groups up in Idaho or the sex industry in the San Fernando Valley. So here we are in 2026, and all of those forbidden impulses is the fuel that the internet runs on. You know, like 80% probably adult content and 10% conspiracy theories. And so this is the final boss subject in the sense that all of that kind of taboo.
By the way, folks, the link is posted. If you want to come up and critique this in real time, feel free to hit the link. I'm just kind of listening to it. I have my own opinions about what the manosphere is. but it's a peripheral. You know, I'm looking at it from the outside looking in. I would tend to agree with Mariah. All these guys are just they preen like birds, like fucking, you know, cats preen, I guess birds preen. They're all a bunch of fucking roosters. They cock-a-doodle do a lot and peck and that sort of stuff and kind of preen their feathers. No substance though.
All those worlds of the darkest parts of the human experience that we secretly pretend aren't there have become front and center in the culture.
Yeah.
And so it was for me that kind of it was me that taking that on in this new media landscape.
It's absolutely true. I've always talked about how the implicit has been made explicit and then exploited, right? It's a really interesting trend because before they were sort of in the dark corners of things, like whether it was neo-Nazis or anything else, you know, they were always sort of sub on message boards and things like that. And they used the internet, no question, the early internet. And now they're just absolutely explicit and then, again, commodify what they're doing by selling whether it's shitty stock tips or supplements or this thing will make you this. You know, one of your subjects called himself a salesman. I thought con man is probably the better term for it, but it's an explicit con man because everyone's in on the con. And the manosphere is all about being transgressive by breaking taboos explicitly, correct?
Very much so. And with a deliberate end goal in mind, which is maximizing viewer engagement. And they would, and I think insofar as that, you know, it's a journey, it's supposed to be like fun is a kind of weird word, but it's supposed to be an enjoyable experience watching me wrestling with these guys figuratively and seeing the ways in which we're trying to get the better of the other one. But truthfully, the reveal, such as it is, well, there's a couple, but one of them is that it's at least as much a grift as it is an ideological movement. And in fact, much of the messaging has been around for years, decades even. But what's new is the ability to engage people at scale, and that behind it is a series of kind of crappy products, whether they're so-called online universities or fitness programs or FX platforms or gambling platforms that they're pushing to their young followers. And these are the other things, like they are very young, like they tend to be 15, 16-year-old boys. Like we call it the manosphere, but you could probably more accurately call it the boyosphere. And so it's sort of an infomercial. I mean, I made a show about infomercials back in the day, but that's kind of mixed in here as well. Like within 3 years, you can be a millionaire if you apply my course. You know, I've met those guys as well, which is very Trumpy as well, oddly enough.
Right. Reply to this message. Reply that when he's on the jet ski, reply to this message. It's
reply
always
to the
make
message.
sure you sign up.
Using my techniques. And just like the infomercial guys, the technique that they're selling isn't usually the way they actually got rich. Right? They're saying like, use my, just by placing tiny little ads. That was one in the 90s.
Like
or
your
you
voice.
can hypnotise yourself to be a winner. And then some multi-level marketing program that they're getting you on. But really, they're getting rich by selling, by selling the program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your voice is excellent, by the way. I have to say, your voice is
it comes and
quite
goes.
good. Your American con man voice is excellent. So you interviewed, as you noted, HS Tiki Taki Justin Waller, who is absolutely con man. He's like an ad for one. Sneeko and podcaster Myron Gaines. I want you to just give an idea, because there's people know the Jordan Peterson, the Jake Pauls, the Joe Rogans. Talk about where these guys fit in. And I want to talk a little bit about Myron in a second, but talk about where these guys fit in, because they're not as well known, but they have large followings, right?
Yeah. You know, on the con man thing, I'm not going to endorse that exact phrasing. Like, I feel as though, and this might seem petty, but because I was quite careful in writing it, you know, there's a temptation, but the truth is, like, they're crappy products. Like, is that a con? I don't know. Like, it's just not exactly. It's not going to get you rich.
Right,
it's not going to get you
adjacent.
Fine.
Con man adjacent.
Yeah. So
okay.
we're in a world now where, for various reasons, like some of it, I would you could argue is like a kind of valid backlash, if you like, or sense of correction of excess, perceived excesses of wokedom. Part of it's just the structural world we inhabit, in which factories have got, Susan Faludi wrote about this in a book like 30 years ago called Stiffed, which was, I remember reading and being influenced by this idea that the American male or the Western male doesn't go and work in building cars in factories or in steel plants the way they used to. Like, we're more likely to be working in call centers, or if we're lucky, right? And that kind of breaking of the sort of post-war economic compact, that sense, like, well, what do we do now? Where do we fit in? And women are going out to work, and in many cases doing the jobs as well as or better than the guys. So and so it's like, where do guys fit in? So I think there's a number of voices that have filled in and attempted to talk about that in varying degrees of coherence. Jordan Peterson in the sort of psychological space, using that's a whole other. He's a kind of different beast, although he rose to prominence on YouTube. So in his way, you could understand him as a content creator as much as a writer or intellectual. Joe Rogan, obviously a comedian, someone who used a platform to build an enormous following and an enormous amount of influence. These guys are, I don't think, like Myron Gaines, who you mentioned, is probably the most extreme of the people I spoke to. He's one who, he says, women shouldn't vote. The one-way monogamy comes up a lot, and it's one of his things. Is like, men should have multiple partners. Women aren't really allowed to do that. So you should have like a harem of women, and then you might have a main woman at home or multiple wives in different houses. And then we didn't even get into like some of the homophobic stuff. Like he began talking about, he thinks gay people should live in special designated areas, like encampments, or, it gets quite dark, to say the least. And then anti-Semitic content as well. He's, I think, of Sudanese heritage.
Yeah, but is that a bad thing for Myron Gaines to be? Does she mean soft as in he's gentle with her, or soft as in, soft as in he can't hammer a nail? He very soft. Well, does she mean tender? A man can be soft, when he needs to be soft. Men should be capable of being more than, just hard as nails. ED saw. Oh, that's what she meant? Okay, well, that's bad. That is not a good thing. Oh, okay. Well, hey, look, when you have kids, you got to be tender with the kids. You can't be, slapping them about.
Nevertheless, he'll say things that struck me as
racist. Well, that's a good thing.
And so it's a provocation and a kind of, how far can I push it in terms of
right? Yeah,
his whole attitude seems to be there is no limit in what we say, because that's his brand. His brand is extremism.
But what was interesting is,
I don't know. Look, I'm probably harsher with some people on my YouTube panel than, well, my son's 19. Now I can be a little brutal with him too, like get to the goddamn point instead of wasting my time. But yeah, he shouldn't be treating his woman like he treats his YouTube panel. No woman should want that.
I was looking at his eyes. He was so sad. Like when he was saying it, it seemed like it was
Juan?
so performative. It was so, I was very particularly fixated on the fact that he didn't believe it. It was, I know it sounds odd, especially around his girlfriend. He was.
I've actually never watched a Fresh and Fit episode. I've seen clips on, other people reacting to it. Never actually watched one of their shows. Would you recommend? Would you recommend I watch one of those?
Vaguely embarrassed, or, it was sort of to see him not in his comfort zone, which is in front of the microphone. is a much different experience than in front of the microphone, right? It looks scarier when he's in control. When you were, it was a very different situation.
Well, one of the moments in the film people have responded to is where he gives his theory about one-way monogamy, and then his girlfriend Angie arrives, and I mentioned to Angie what he's just said about his plans going forward are, at the moment he's only got one girlfriend, but he's working towards having multiple wives, and of which she might be one. And you can see she's hesitant,
uncomfortable,
not into it, right? And then and he starts kind of drawing back, which is a big no-no in the manosphere, because you're supposed to do something called hold frame, right? You're supposed to absolutely not compromise, but that these are my boundaries and I will not move them. But he starts saying like, oh, well, maybe I won't. And then she goes off, and we unpack that a bit. And you can see he feels like he's kind of been owned. I've spotted the weakness. I've spotted some non-alpha quality.
His dictatorship, get it, has been compromised.
Has been rumbled.
What was interesting
his
about that?
non-dictatorship has been exposed. Exactly.
You undicked him, dickless dictatorship. What was interesting is he had to then yell, "Clean my room" to be Manny. Like I was like, oh my God, you just lost.
That's right. He performs masculinity.
But he said it when after he lost, so it was so like, oh my God, you've lost, and now you're showing you've lost. Anyway, it was really I have 3 sons, so I know a lot of these behaviors. But
as do I.
In terms of trying
you've already the landscape.
Oh, I do. They don't like any of this stuff. But Andrew Tate also, one of my sons, definitely looked at him and then was coming back. I let him. I'm like, go ahead, look at him. And he's like, what a dick. Like, that's what a stupid dick.
Well, for sure.
Like,
and that was how I came to the subject, by the way, was through the experience of living through lockdown, and then the moment in, I think it was 2022, when Andrew Tate went massively viral, and his name was being mentioned at the dinner table in a way like, oh, Andrew Tate said this, or Andrew Tate says that. And I'm like, who is Andrew Tate? And little did I know that he would, become the self-advertised most Googled man on the planet. But truthfully, I think
smell the desperation.
This is an important point in a way, because I think my kids would watch him and with sort of build in, with a built-in sense of irony, and sort of appreciate that some of it was intended as comedy, or which isn't to excuse or justify it, but like a lot of the internet, it was kind of with a winking or a knowing sense of a smirking, like this, I don't quite mean this, but maybe I do. And that's how they build in a lot of the deniability, is like, oh, well, not everything is literally or meant literally, or they walk it back. But truthfully, a lot of it is meant literally, and a lot of it is extremely alarming.
For people who don't know, he's a former kickboxer and reality TV star who says he's absolutely a misogynist. He's always trying to trigger people. He and his brother Tristan Tate are facing rape and human trafficking charges, a very serious part of their behaviors in the UK and Romania. Young fans sometimes call them an inspiration. They sort of are at the dead hot center of it, and kind of remain so, even though they're relatively pathetic figures for anyone who's an adult or who looks at them very clearly.
You would hope, but truthfully, actually, they seem to enjoy. Andrew and Tristan, the 2 brothers. Andrew, in fact, we have a clip of him on our documentary saying Donald Trump is a close friend of mine. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But he definitely has his advocates and his supporters close to the centers of power. And in fact, Michelle Goldberg at the New York Times has written 1 or 2 pieces about that. Like, yes, mainly his whole life and identity seems an evocation of a kind of 14-year-old's idea of what masculinity would be like, right? Multiple girls, fast cars, throwing money around, cigars, big muscles. But he also seems to, like, there's some relationship with Nigel Farage, the British right-wing political leader. And as much as, you don't want to be alarmist, but there is, and yes, it's true, he's kind of selling crappy products to teenagers, but he also has a degree of influence in surprising places I think Donald Trump Jr.'s posted pictures with him as well. So what we're trying to show is how at the bottom you've got this sort of, these kind of, you would think maybe laughable, kind of guys LARPing this masculinity, but actually there's this sort of trickle up in the culture of that dragging the political establishment in a certain direction.
Absolutely, because Trump did an effective job appealing to them in the last election in this group by doing those first the shows and then sort of nodding to it, just the way he nodded to QAnon. Like nodding to it shows that you're aware of it. Do you would you say that who would be at the top of this? Because a lot of the people you interviewed are at varying levels. It's sort of a stack ranked situation. You focused in on some who people might not know about, like the Tates or a Theo Von or a Joe Rogan.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I'd separate out Theo Von and Joe Rogan. They're not in the ambit of what we were looking at. Like the ones we were looking at, the apex figure of that, other than Andrew Tate, and there's a whole other, I corresponded with Tate by direct message on X through the whole course of making the film, and with Tristan as well, attempting to get them to go on the documentary. First thing was like, well, I'll do it, but you have to pay me. And I was like, dude, you're always going on about how you're worth millions and millions. Why would you even need us to pay you? And he's like, well, you need me and I don't need you. And there was this tango going on. And in the end, it sort of fizzled out.
I had an exchange like that with Dan Bongino once, but go ahead. Yeah.
Interesting.
He's bigger than me.
He'd be Manosphere.
He's much bigger. He's bigger. So I kept saying, yes, you're much bigger. You're tumescent. You're amazing. So anyway.
Well, yeah, tumescent is he literally, Andrew Tate literally sent me towards the end of the dance. He sent me a screen grab of a Google Trends search that he'd done in which he'd compared his and my trajectories. And I was like, there was one line that was red and it was all the way down at the bottom. There was one that was blue that was sort of halfway up the mast. And he goes like, you're red, I'm blue.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, at the end, his kind of tapered down, and then mine, I just had a show go out. So for the last tiny bit, mine dipped above his. And I was like, dude, and so I screen grabbed it and just put a line around it and said, dude, by your own picture, I'm actually more relevant than you are, which was very petty, but it felt like an own.
I endorse that 100%.
And can I say one other thing? Is like, and then the film was a success, and then he got back in touch and said, is it too late to be in the documentary? And I was like, that ship has sailed.
Of course.
Part
two.
So that
you
was
wait,
funny.
You go, wait by the phone, Andy. Wait by the phone. Call him Andy, by the way. Diminishing is always excellent. Good. Andy. Hey, Andy, wait by the phone. Every episode, we get a question from an outside expert. You have two today. Here's the first.
I'm Jack Thorne, writer of Adolescence and Lord of the Flies. And my question is, how aware has Louis been of the response to his show from the Manosphere itself? And I say this because obviously our show had quite an interesting response from them. And I just wondered how he's navigating that response and whether he feels like he wants to acknowledge what they're talking about, or whether he's happy that he's said his piece already and that's all he's going to do. Thank you very much. Huge fan, Louis. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Great to hear from Jack Thorne. The first thing to say is obviously in the film, we incorporate responses. One of the things we tried to do was have a meta layer in which the influencers, as we go along, react to the experience of being with me on their channels. And then since then, there's been more. It's been varied.
Pause this right quick to show this. So Iran warns of strong responses as Israel's attacks on Lebanon threaten ceasefire. Is this the right story? There was a thing here. Let's see. Damn it. Did I get the right story? There was a response to... Hold on one second here. Why am I not seeing this? Iran has a response to the U.S. in Strait of Hormuz, which I found interesting. Here we go. Give me 1 sec here. All right. See if I finally got the right link. Thought I posted it the first time correctly, but I did not. So this supposedly is footage shows the U.S. destroyers fled Strait of Hormuz after receiving a warning from Iran's Navy. And I'm trying to figure out, I thought they have a Navy? What's up with that?
No challenges attended to you.
U.S. Navy Warship 121. This is SEPA Navy Station. You must alter course and go back to the Indian Ocean immediately. If you don't obey my order, you will be targeted. Out.
This is Coalition Warship 121. Engaged in transit passage in accordance with international law. No challenges attended to you.
U.S. Navy Warship transiting in the vicinity of Fujairah Port and Oman Sea. This is SEPA Navy. This is SEPA Navy. Last warning, last warning, last warning.
Okay, will do. Dirty.
Attention all vessels, attention all vessels, attention all vessels in Oman Sea. This is Iranian SEPA Navy. If you see any warship in your vicinity, keep a distance more than 10 miles from them because I'm ready to open fire on them without any warning.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a minute. That's some shit talking right there. So let's have a look at this. This is from Dirty Dude. West Virginia Trump voter uproar. Okay, well, I'm definitely up for that.
What I'm going to do because my wages aren't rising, but my bills keep rising.
Paige Shallow's winter power bills ranged from $350 to...
Hold on one
If it keeps going up like this, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because...
I need to, you know what? Let me do this. This is not... Spawn...
$100.
$362.98.
Now, even in warmer months, she's paying about $50 more than previous years.
Frustration is boiling over in West Virginia as some Trump voters say rising utility bills are now costing more than their own mortgages. What's driving these soaring costs, and why are so many speaking out now? Listen closely as residents share their real stories and reactions to a financial strain that's hitting close to home.
Donald Trump is rapidly losing his base. All 55 counties in West Virginia voted for Donald Trump. And now when you get on their socials, they're posting their electric bills. They're saying they have to choose between food and paying their electric bills. They're demanding answers from Donald Trump. Small businesses are actually closing shop because they can't afford to pay their monthly electric bill. One disabled woman who voted for Trump got an electric bill for $940 last month, more than her disability check. Some of the comments Trump voters are making, it's breaking me. Every time I see my energy bill, I'm just sick. All I heard was drill, baby, drill. Well, where's the drilling? And indeed, nationwide, energy prices went up 4.8% in February, and natural piped gas went up 10.9%. And according to a Gallup poll just taken in March, 35% of Americans are severely concerned about how they're going to pay for their electric bills next month. I really wish somebody had warned them what would happen.
West Virginia, we did it. We are ranked #1 in utility costs. Can somebody tell me how in the world West Virginia, with all the fresh water, all the coal we sit on top of, can be the #1 costliest state for utilities? How can that be? I need somebody to explain to me how it could be possible that we pay more than.
Did Kamala Harris not tell you how? Oh, this is hilarious. Deacon Dave, did she mention the grow house out back that she's powering? I don't know that she has a grow house. Deacon Dave. Yeah, the AI people are, well, as well they should. That'll give them a little bit of a break on their electric bills.
Alaska and Hawaii for our utilities. What's going on in West Virginia?
Well, and welcome to another day in the United States of fuck this place, baby, where it's clear to see the Red Hat crew in red states all across the US of A got played in a major kind of way. There's a FAFO in the brew. Yes, indeed. Allow me to pour it for you. Sing it with me, baby. West Virginia, Mountain Mama can't heat her home. She decided to vote and let the pedos roam. The pedo in chief promised to cut electric cost in half. Bills in energy-rich West Virginia now top mortgages. You see, the pedo-in-chief convinced the people of West Virginia that coal was king, and that may be true in Virginia, but one thing he did not mention, dear, is that coal king wears an expensive, pricey crown, just like the orange clown. The state is an outlier nationwide because of its stubborn resistance to adopting cleaner, cheaper sources of energy, such as nuclear power and natural gas, even though it's one of the nation's top producers, and renewables like solar and wind. Instead, West Virginia clings to the aging coal-fired electric plants more than anywhere else in the country, about 87% of all production. Its supermajority Republican-led government, there are only about 11 Democrats in the House and Senate, has doubled down on its reliance, blaming past Democratic administrations for a war on coal fueled by increased federal regulation.
Blaming past Democratic administrations like 12th Man does.
And restrictions, while the pedo-in-chief poses for photo ops with coal miners at the White House and regularly touts, coal is king, without mentioning it was going to cost the people of West Virginia, baby. Their energy bills have increased like 900%.
Every county in West Virginia went red in 2024 based on the promise of having their energy bills cut in half. Fast forward to today, and people are paying more for the utilities than their mortgage. As an example,
I gotta stop. The press is here. Deacon Dave says the Dems are desperate. Motherfucker, the people with $900 electric bills are desperate. Did you not hear, Deacon Dave? Every county in West Virginia went for Trump, and there's a lady in this very video with a $900 and some bill, and the Dems are desperate. Oh, Dave, I think Trump voters are desperate for relief. Fake news. Yeah. Winter is fake. Winter in West Virginia is very real, Deacon Dave. It's real there. Now, maybe in your fancy metropolitan area with your fancy city boy ways, maybe other people's suffering is not within your cognizance, sir. Motherfucker, you're living that city boy life. Real people out here in the hinterlands, we're desperate, not the Dems, sir.
One woman had an electric bill, just the electric bill, at $940.
It gets worse. Oh,
People
wow.
are literally shutting themselves in rooms with just one space heater and turning.
Well, all I have to say, Dirty Dude, is hopefully City Boy Deacon Dave won't just sound so contemptuous of those of us who live in the hinterland.
Heat off to the rest of their houses so that they don't have to pay these crazy bills, but they're still through the roof. It is hard as somebody with a level of sympathy and empathy to want to just cast these people out and say that's what you voted for.
You mingle amongst the common folk flying those $800 planes. That's what you do. You're flying your toys way above their heads.
But in the same breath, this is what you voted for. You cannot tell me otherwise. The man who said he was going to cut your bills in half is a serial con man. And he said, drill, baby, drill, but you're not seeing the results because he's a professional liar. I feel for the people of West Virginia. I feel for the people that are suffering. But my give a damn is also busted. This ruby red state is paying the absolute price.
Keep in mind that West Virginia went 70% for the malignant man-child, 70%. Okay. This just came out yesterday from the Associated Press. Here's what's going on in West Virginia right now.
$1,218.67. Yeah, for one building.
The rising cost of utilities definitely does have some effect on.
Hey, Mike 123, look at what the head of my life is doing to the people of West Virginia. What you got to say there?
The reason we're going to just under one roof.
After we went through our first year, we looked at the electric bill, we looked at the rent, and realized we were not going to make enough money. So we had to raise the rent. And that was what started a lot of the rift with the West Virginians, that we were going to have to raise the rent when they'd had camping the same way for so many years.
You're getting $1,300 to $1,500 bills for electric. And West Virginia has decided that they're going to run on coal for at least 2040. You don't have a choice when it comes to electric and water. And so, you can't decide to just not have electric for that month. We're seeing businesses lock up, businesses are closing.
I try to stay so positive and look towards the future, and bigger plans. But sometimes it's just so sad, walking down there, seeing it.
From here down was counters. I had an ice cream freezer, and then I had my bakery cakes.
I was getting ready. Like I had a bunch of stuff made up and everything and was getting ready for Valentine's Day because holidays were $700 to $1,000 days. So I would have had the money if I could have just got 2 days, just 2 days. We closed down on the 12th. The electric being so high made me struggle on pretty much everything else. Once I got behind, it was like I could not dig out of that hole. And every time I would pay a big lump sum, then the next bill would come in and it would be even higher. We're in the Antique Mall, Ravenswood Antique Mall. And we are coming back to my booth where I'm going to have some of my baked goods. At one point, I had 5 employees. 3 lost their jobs the day that I closed because I was down to 3 for the winter because I knew. And we lost our only source of income at that time.
14 months ago, we opened up this small gallery here, which is only 1,900 square feet. We just love it here. But the problem is we're getting really beat up with the high energy costs. This small gallery, I keep the temperature down kind of low, and I'm still paying $700, $800 a month. The power company, I've called several times, and I told them, look, I'm a senior.
Well, wait, let's discuss this. Mental dihedral, a phenomenon that motivates one to seek all types of confirmation bias, especially opinion pieces and TikTok sources. Well, Deacon Dave, so you're calling these people liars? The fuck? So you are saying the people, these real people of West Virginia, and your fellow chat room person, a person that is dirty dude doesn't lie, sir. Are you saying dirty dude is making shit up when he says his electric bill is higher than it's ever been? Not fake news? What in the hell? You're saying dirty dude has a has mental dihedral? Oh man, Deacon Dave, how could you accuse someone like Deacon Dave of propagating fake news? What has he done to you? Deacon Dave. I'm sorry. The true Trump derangement syndrome is with the fucking MAGA blacks. MAGA blacks are literally mental dihedral, whatever this fake word that you all have come up with. Deacon Dave, take back that horrible comment. Your callousness. Deacon Dave, I know you're better than this. Be like Fresh and Fit, Myron, whatever the fuck his name is. Be tender. Be kind. Care for your fellow man who Donald Trump is taxing and fucking just abusing. Donald Trump is abusing America while blockading the Strait of Hormuz. Motherfucker cares more about the Strait of Hormuz than he does the state of West Virginia.
Citizen, I'm 71. I'm an artist and I have a gallery and I'm trying to help the community. Is there any program that can help us to help our community? She says, I'm sorry, we really don't have that. And
Your rent for the commercial space here is how much?
it's only $600. It's $150, $200 less than my power bill.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices. And that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
I find it fascinating that, they go and they give him a trophy saying he's the friend of a coal miner. Our coal miners are dying of black lung. They don't have clean water. They can't feed their children. Their schools are closing. Their electric bills are through the roof and they can't afford groceries. Where's the trophy for us?
We are energy rich. I mean, they come through, tore up our land. We kept hearing, we're going to do the coal mines, the coal mines, the coal mines.
Untrackable? We still can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining.
Yeah, same here. You must be in Georgia.
Oh, you know I'm in North Carolina.
Well, it's a fine day in the South. Any comment about these poor folk who are just paying through the nose? Look, I used to live on the other side of 81 from West Virginia up around I was in Warren County. I can see West Virginia from my backyard out on the back deck. Electric bills. Oh, motherfucker, you better pray you have a wood stove. Because if you have a heat pump, you are effed. You will pay, dude. I used to pay like $500, in a January for heating. Well, in the summertime, it'd be like $100. It gets cold as hell
Yeah.
up there. And I didn't, I lived actually on top of a mountain, but nothing like
Well,
West Virginia, because you get into the interior of West Virginia and it is cold, cold.
I
Any
heard
thoughts?
this. I heard this. I'm not sure if he actually said it. I didn't hear it. But apparently Ben Shapiro said, if you can't afford to live in this country, maybe you should fucking leave.
What? Huh.
I
Wow.
don't think he dropped the F word. But he said if you can't afford to live here, Gen Z or whatever it is, just leave.
Wow.
And-
Well, so he's saying American citizens should self-deport? Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're telling me a story about how you grew up. My father grew up on dirt floors. You understand that we grew up in the military. So understanding discipline and making things happen no matter what it takes, that seems to be a part of us. It's not a part of everybody, but it's a part of us. But to say you can't afford it, kick rocks. Yeah.
No, that's like that. Oh my God, that is vile.
Yeah. Hey, I honestly, you say you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy, but honestly,
Oh.
but honestly, if you have to go through that, you have to go through that. Because
Well, if you have to go for it, Trump worst enemy apparently.
that is life. But saying that you are not American because you can't afford to be American, like it takes nothing. It takes nothing to be American. It takes being here and putting forth effort and and stuff like that. But to say you can't afford to be American, it's like, oh, now we're gonna put a price on it.
Right.
Well,
look, this
if you
is
put a
just that
price on it,
MAGA.
if you're gonna put a price on it, just be prepared to get robbed, because all of a sudden it's like my effort outweighs your money. All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, all I have to say is that maybe these rich people and fucking, cash in a couple RC planes to pay an electric bill or something. We're all going to wind up at the wildest wake up women's shelter if Trump, keeps going the way he's going.
I'm just saying, America is not it's not a club.
Well, I don't know. We're kind of going in that direction.
It can kind of seem that way, but doers get shit done, and that's what America is about. If you're trying to get something off of somebody else, yeah, maybe you should go. But if you're a doer, prove it, and then I think that's when you have a chance.
So how does doing affect, say, a $900 electric bill? Is someone doing something to earn a $900 electric bill?
If you have a $900 electric bill and you're doing the work to earn the wages to pay for that $900 electric bill,
Okay, so people should pay a $900 electric bill. I mean, we're going to assume that I guess the point of, excuse me, let me get some water here.
take a sip.
The problem is you're not working hard enough to pay the electric bill, or is the electric bill too high?
Well, I'm not saying that the electric bill isn't too high, but I'm saying
Okay, but so if the electric bill is too high, you should be able to afford it. Is that your point?
I'm saying if somebody's willing to adopt that debt and use that electric bill, and they
Okay,
pay it,
you're not getting my point. You don't use it. So you're saying people, if you know the electric bill is going to be too high, you cut back. Like if it's at 65 degrees, dial it back to 55 degrees to save energy.
I'm saying if you want to be here,
Oh,
done what it takes to be here, this is what it costs to be here and to live
so
this way.
an American citizen needs to earn the right
Well,
to stay here.
I'm not saying you should be deported.
Okay, listen to my question.
Yes,
If
sir.
you are born in West Virginia and you have lived there all your life, and it gets cold, probably one of the coldest places on the East Coast, outside of Maine or something.
Yes.
So if you happen to be born in a place where there's plenty of coal and all that stuff, if you know it's going to be cold and you might not be able to afford that $1,000 a month electric bill, you need to either get a second or third or fourth job or cut back on the thermostat, because we don't have to question the bill. The bill is going to, even if the energy is overpriced, it's going to be high. You need to do what needs to be done to meet the cost. Correct?
Survival, brother. Survival.
Okay, so you survive, but you should never go and ask questions about why is the bill so high.
Sometimes
Do you just pay it without questioning?
sometimes you have to circumvent.
How do you circumvent a $1,000 electric bill?
It's called start a fire. There is no cost. There is no cost on a fire. You just set it. And
So okay,
send.
where do you live? Do you live up in Nashville, in the Asheville area?
No.
Okay, do you know that started like you unless you just have I had a brother-in-law who did tree work. So a lot of times, he would just drop off wood and I'd split it and all. But otherwise, say you're just living up, if you got a wood stove and you aren't splitting the wood and downing the trees, you have to pay for wood, right? Like if you want a
No,
cord of wood,
no, you
think
you do, you
I
don't have
think
to
I've
pay for wood.
had like maybe $300-400 for a cord of wood, which is pretty expensive.
You
So even
you don't.
burning wood, starting a fire costs money too. You don't just start a fire with nothing.
Well, you don't have to pay for wood.
You don't have to pay for wood. How would you get wood otherwise?
You cut it.
Okay, you just walk onto somebody's property. You just walk onto somebody's property and chop down a tree?
What do they say?
And you, by the way, just so you know, you can't just chop down a tree and burn the wood. The wood will be green. You've actually got to cure it. Like I used to start dealing with wood in March as soon as it got warm. Spend
Yeah,
the
so
summer splitting rounds, stack it so it's dry by the fall. I
so
just
start
wanted
in
to
the
add that
spring.
in.
So start in the spring.
Correct. But my point is, what if you just live like me? I live in a house, haven't split wood in years. But what if you're just some little old lady? Would you just tell some little old lady, shit, start a fire? With what?
Where are your kids at? Put them to work.
Damn, dude.
Hey, if you want to get raw with it, yeah. If you want to pay bills for sure.
Really? It's that simple, huh?
I mean, we didn't get here.
Who is we? And
I
again,
mean,
and here's where I'm having a huge
you
disconnect.
don't you?
Dude, you're talking about just sucking it up and not asking questions.
Well, you have electricity, don't you?
Motherfucker, it doesn't matter if
I
I have electricity
I have
and
electricity.
the bill is doubles in a year. That's what these people are talking about. Like my bill, I need to look at it, but I'm gonna guess it might be $100 because I haven't really been, the weather's been nice. I haven't had to run heat pump or anything. So I'm expecting it to be maybe even $100, but let's just say right at $100. What if I open that thing and it's $300? I'm gonna ask why it's tripled.
Yeah, well, we all know why.
Dirty Dude lives in West Virginia, and he's saying his bills are higher than they've ever been, and he's lived there forever. So if the bills are getting higher and higher and higher, you don't just fucking pay a bill. You start asking, why is it doubling? You got to ask those questions.
But when you already have the answer,
And what's the answer?
well, global war.
So global war is the answer, and you're willing to accept that.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Well, motherfucker, vote Trump out for starters, but that's upcoming. Bottom line is you don't just pay a bill, in my opinion, and not do something. Even if it's putting together a video or even if it's hopping into my chat going, this shit is higher than ever. Dude, you just don't be a drone.
Well, it's not the highest that I've seen. It was over $4
Okay,
with
you
Obama.
don't live in West Virginia. It's not the highest you've seen, but there are people saying it's the highest they've seen. So it's not necessarily about you specifically.
Okay, so but you're saying that like somebody can't stay warm in the winter.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And actually, I'm not the one saying it. I'm listening to these people talking about, hey, I got to close a business because the energy costs are so high, I can't keep the doors open.
Yeah,
I'm
and
listening to other people.
Like I have to drive to work, and it becomes much more expensive to even go to work. You understand that?
Absolutely. So you're not concerned about rising fuel prices?
I mean, I'm concerned about everything. Everything that comes out of my pocket is a concern.
So having the concern is enough.
But it still has to happen.
Okay. Maybe you're not quite getting my point. It has
I
to
think I
happen
am.
should it keep on happening. You meet the day, but if there's a way you can get the cost of your bills down, you don't think you should do it? You should just pay it and be unconcerned? You don't
Do
think
you
you don't think asking questions like what can I do to get these bills under control? And I'm not just talking, your day-to-day, month-to-month expenses. I'm talking a year down the road. Okay, we've got a president who started a war for no apparent reason, which is driving up fuel costs for no apparent reason. We're paying more money because Trump wanted to start a war. You don't have a problem with that?
do you remember seeing walls or
Seeing what?
monuments being built?
Okay, I'm sorry. Seeing what? I didn't hear you.
Walls.
I'm
And
not
then all of
sure.
a sudden,
Walls as in
and then there's names being put on these walls.
what wall are you talking about? The Vietnam Wall? The Vietnam Memorial Wall? Is that what you're
Oh,
talking about?
that's a long time ago, but I watched I watched the wall be built, and I watched the names be etched into it.
And
And here we are again.
okay, no idea what that means. So you watched walls going up, names being carved into the wall, and that has what to do with fuel prices? Are you saying people died for high fuel prices?
Uh, I believe it could have all been avoided, but
High
that's
fuel
not
prices?
the way the
Or are
world
we
works.
talking the war?
That's not the way the world works, is it?
Okay, well, I'm still not sure where you're going, but I'm not so sure that you should just not affect the way the world works. If shit is happening that you could possibly control or do something about, you should do it. Sometimes the world works the way you will it to work. Sometimes what you can control, you should try to control. And if
Well,
that means complaining about high fuel prices when you don't think they should be this high, you got to at least try and affect
what
change. Have you ever heard of
what
change? The way the world works,
what are we
sometimes
going
you
to
have
do?
to change it.
What are we going to do, Stanley? You and I. What are we going to do?
Well, when it gets out of control, you start asking questions. And that might mean if something is ineffectual, is going to your congressperson. You do what you can do, turn down the thermostat, put on a sweater, but then
Are
you
you do, Stanley?
also go to your electric company and you start asking questions. Let me tell you something that happened to me a couple years ago. One day, I got a water bill that was like 8 times what the usual water bill was. And I'm like, "What in the fuck?" Well, I didn't just pay the bill without asking questions. As it turns out, I had a leaky water heater. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do? Of course I had to get it replaced. But let me tell you, my water bill is usually like $20. Dude, I got a fucking $500 water bill. I was like, what on earth? Now, my water heater is below the house. It's in a crawl space. I didn't even know it was leaking because I couldn't see the water. Well, I got the bill, all of a sudden I'm like, what in the fuck? So I started asking questions. Well, guess what? I got the water heater replaced. And I went to the electric company or the water company, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to break this bill up into two parts. And you know what she told me? Well, all you need to do is wait 30 days. Once we see that the water bill is under control, she literally said, don't worry about the $500. We just need to know that the leak is fixed. So I saved $500, and my goddamn little water company in little Carrollton, Georgia, fucking saved me $500. Literally, I'm not kidding. I was like, God damn, I love living in a small town. They just literally forgave the bill. $500.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you get that high bill, you actually can do something about it when you question, why is this bill so damn high? I didn't just pay it. That's what I'm saying, dude. You got to ask questions. And I wish I was kidding, Untrackable. I'm not just whistling Dixie. Those folks forgave a $500 water bill. They're like, we just need to know you got it fixed.
You know, and that's a beautiful thing.
Okay, but did you get the moral of the story? You don't just pay a goddamn bill, you ask why it's so high. Sometimes it can be fixed. Never know until you ask. Oh no,
You
hey,
know,
Dirty, this is down in Georgia. This is Carroll County, Georgia. So anyway, I'm not gonna beat this dead horse, but dude, you gotta ask questions when the bills are too high, especially if you can't explain it. You
hey,
know, it being
if
cold.
something if when something comes crazy, I do say why. I do.
Right. And these people are asking why. They've got fat. Dude, the most I ever paid for a bill, and I lived in Warren County, Virginia, uh, up at elevation. I was about 1,500 feet up. It gets cold up there. Most I ever paid was like maybe $500. These people are paying double that. And probably, dude, I used to burn wood and still have a $400 bill. So anyway, ask questions. What's up, JB? I'm not Untrackable. You can respond. I just want to say hey to JB.
Hey man, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get back to the video. I just think that, yeah, um, you gotta ask questions. And you know, if you are getting bills that are dramatically higher than you've ever paid, you gotta ask the question. And you gotta blame the man who said he would be reducing energy bills. And this is a good point. The poorest county, West Virginia is the poorest state in the country, but they've got the highest bills. Something needs to be done about that.
Well, I mean,
Knows what?
on that stat, aside from energy prices going up, like yeah. How about this? Property, it's gone up. So what I'm sitting on is worth more. But that also means insurance costs go up and taxes go up. So that means I pay more. I don't get more. I don't get more house. The house doesn't grow. But to insure it costs more. And the taxes is more.
Well, I'm thrilled that you're happy paying more. we
I'm not
you're happy paying more. I guess I have no
I'm not happy. I'm not happy that this is, like I said, the walls don't grow. Nothing gets bigger. There's no more space. It is what it is.
Mhm.
But it costs more because they say so.
Okay. Well,
I get my water from the car wash. I take up some jugs up there and fill those up.
is that right? Is it recycled water or fresh water?
It's fresh water, man.
Yeah.
See? Well, a lot of
I'm a-
times car
that's
washes recycle their water.
Take care of each other.
Well, it's okay, man. It's water, man.
By the way, everybody, please make sure that you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Sovereign Beer Fund is open for investment, and you know what? It is getting close to time. Help a brother out with some beer money. I have fussed. All I'm gonna fuss. Let's watch some more of this.
I love the current administration, but what about the coal mines? If they're digging, baby digging, I don't see it here. I've had to close down 2 stores because I can't afford rent. You have a gas bill, you have an electricity bill, you have water bill, you have sewer bill, okay? I can't afford all that plus pay $2,000 a month rent. Your utility bills are more than your rent is. And we are a red state. I don't want us to be the left behind state anymore, I guess I should say.
Everybody says we need them. We need little bakeries. We need all these little small businesses, but then they're the ones that get hit the hardest.
Well, howdy, friends. I'm going to vent a little bit today. I'm going to vent about the water company. I got my water bill yesterday, and guess what? Thought I had a water leak when I looked at that price on the bill. Almost $50, y'all. That's crazy. When I first got city water, it was like $28 or $29. Now we're looking almost $50 a month. What are we going to do, y'all?
While most of the attention has been on electricity, data centers are also draining our water supplies at an alarming rate. The servers that power AI generate enormous amounts of heat. To keep the chips from overheating and getting damaged, data centers use evaporative cooling systems that consume massive quantities of water. The new chips like NVIDIA's Blackwell use far more electricity than previous generations, which means that they need even more cooling. Data centers can use more water to avoid running electric cooling systems, or they can use more electricity to reduce water consumption. Most choose water because it's cheaper. Researchers at UC Riverside found that every 20 to 50 questions you ask, ChatGPT consumes roughly half a liter of water. Globally, ChatGPT alone uses an estimated 39 million gallons of water per day. A single large data center can consume up to 5 million gallons of water per day. That's equivalent to the daily needs of a town of 50,000 people. In Northern Virginia, home to the world's largest cluster of data centers, facilities consumed nearly 2 billion gallons in 2023, a 63% increase from just 4 years earlier. Projections show that water use from data centers could increase by 870% as more facilities come online.
Okay, so I'm a little pissed off here in Virginia. So I got my electric bill this month and it has doubled. And I was like, wait, what happened? I didn't do anything different. So I started doing a little research and asking some of my friends, hey, did yours double? And they were like, oh yeah, check this out. This guy's like, oh yeah, mine's now $700 a month. This other person, yeah, mine went up 45%. The other people, they basically doubled. And so I'm like, wait, I didn't even know there was going to be a rate hike. So I did a little research and sure enough, Virginia Power was like, hey, don't worry, there's going to be a rate hike, but don't worry. It's only going to be like $11 a family. And so I'm like, you lied. And then I was like, I wonder what this rate hike was for. So then I did a little more research and they're like, oh, we need new poles and labor costs have gone up and so has fuel costs. Fuel costs have gone down. But the most alarming thing to me was they had mentioned that with all of the new data centers in Virginia, it basically drained the system and they need to upgrade it. So first of all, I want to ask who the frig is letting all these data centers in to drain the American public's wallets? And secondly, why are we forced to pay double an electric bill for these data centers that are here? And then I was like, gee, I wonder if Virginia Power is really hurting for money, that they needed to raise everyone's rate, not $11, but double. And so I did a little quick research. And guess what? Just in Q3 alone for 2025, guess how much they made? They made $1 billion net profit. So could somebody please friggin' tell me why this cost is always funneled down to the hardworking American taxpayer? This shit has got to stop. I am so tired of being a human. It should not be this expensive to live. And
well, let me tell you, ma'am, it's because, as Mike123 says, Trump is ahead of my life.
I don't know who makes these decisions, but it is reckless.
Hey, so starting next
Hey,
year, if you're a
Stanley, how
Dominion
much
Energy
you pay
customer,
for those
that's where you get your electricity in.
You know what? Hold on one sec. Let me play this. I'm going to grab the bill. Let's
All
see
right.
how much it is this month.
Virginia, your electricity bill may be going up. The SCC in Virginia approved rate increases, so this means you might be paying more than $11 on your electrical bill starting next year, and a little more than $2 on top of that the following year.
Because there are people coming in and showing that their bill is now double. So not only are you paying for the actual bill, you're paying for what you're using. You're paying on what they got to use to supply shit to you. You got to pay for the poles, wires. There's no cost that comes out of their pocket. They're making you pay for just for vibes. As a business, do you not think you're going to lose customers? Here's the problem. Dominion has a monopoly on energy in Virginia.
You're going to love this. It's a whole $97.
Wow.
Well,
I
mean,
run the
it's just-
extension cord from the laundromat to my house, so I get free lights.
Well, here's the deal, though. I think the most expensive I had was maybe close to 160. This time of the year, I pretty much don't have to run anything. It's been cool enough that I don't even open the windows, because at night it gets, it's been getting down into the high 40s. But anyway, it's $97, but I live in a small town in, it's a 3-bedroom house, but it's not super large, and it's just me. So, I'm not running, electricity constantly. It would probably be $80 if I wasn't running a computer all the time.
You can't lose customers as Dominion because there is no other power source in Virginia. Get some solar energy. We're going to make sure y'all got batteries. Get some panels. Thanks, Spanberg.
Sounds like last year there was a pretty significant rate increase in Virginia. And that rate increase went into effect in 2026. And now, ironically, they got this great big huge bomb cyclone that's about to really affect that whole East Coast with cold weather, snow that typically isn't what they have there. But a lot of people are complaining about those electricity bills. And a lot of people are complaining that those rate increases are basically costing more than car payments and house payments. And I just think that it would be a very opportune time, regardless of who's in command now or who's in charge now of the state of Virginia. Maybe you can give those people a break. I don't think that, thinking through this like, oh, it's the Republicans' fault or, oh, it's the Democrats' fault is the answer. Because in the end, it's us everyday average citizens who foot that bill.
I just got my energy bill for the month. Dominion Energy out of Virginia. My bill has tripled. Like, I usually pay about $200, on a regular, $300 on a high note. $621. That's more than my car payment. What the actual hell is going on?
Virginia electric bills have been climbing like crazy. Over the last 5 years, electric rates have increased by about 30%. From 2024 to 2025, rates have increased by about 8 to 13%, which is noticeably steeper than inflation in some periods. This is especially felt in the Appalachian Power Territories.
Hey, Dave, it's not what the president did, it's what he did not do. That's he did not he did not cause prices to go down. Maybe he shouldn't promise what he can't keep. And Dirty's talking about the coal in West Virginia. I'm saying Donald Trump directly raised fuel prices by starting a war that didn't need to be started.
But who is in charge of approving these rate increases? The SCC, in other words, the Virginia State Corporation Commission. But voters do have a big impact overall. Voters elect the General Assembly. The General Assembly elects the commissioners of the SCC. The SCC regulates Dominion's rates. Also, unfortunately, Dominion Energy basically has a legalized monopoly in our state. We don't have the luxury to shop around, so it's all the more crucial we vote in leaders who actually represent our priorities. Only about 40 to 55% of Virginia citizens actually vote for state elections. About half the state stays home on election day, and we all wonder why nothing changes. You don't vote on electric rates directly, but your vote decides who controls the system that sets them.
These stories show that a deeper sense of disillusionment is taking shape, raising questions about expectations, outcomes, and what comes next. Are these isolated frustrations or signs of a broader shift within the MAGA movement? Stay with us as more Americans share their experiences and perspectives.
From last year, what it was, in February, and then this, you go, what happened?
January 2025, she spent $352. A year later, it's a $694 price tag, almost double.
I can't afford this. I don't have that kind of money.
Stroud uses solar energy and heats her home with a heat pump, but does not have an auxiliary that bumps up the cost when the cold weather arrives.
It can't get out of whack. Something like that really, takes away anything else. Plus, at the beginning of the year, I have my medications and stuff. Is this what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the year and from now on out? If it is, there's going to be a lot of elderly people that can't afford it. A $300 jump or a $400 jump, that hurts us. That means we have to cut out something else.
Something to me is just not making sense. Every single electric bill I'm getting is looking like this. This is how all my electric bills are looking. How is it humanly possible that I was using 1,500 and less kilowatts every single month in 2025, 2024, and 2023? But somehow I'm using 5,000 kilowatts of energy now in 5,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000 the last 4 months? Something doesn't make sense, bro. And every time I call Dominion Energy, they tell me that I'm tripping. I need somebody to help me understand how a human can use 5,000 kilowatts when I'm never home. Never home. I don't use TV. I don't use heat. I don't understand.
Just come down the road a while ago, I was thinking about my electric bill last month.
$521. That's crazy. Got a friend, 1,021, another friend was 880 something. How do these people pay these big electric bills? I don't know how these people on fixed income pay these big electric bills. Honest to goodness.
Okay. If your electric usage has gone up that much, you need to be checking your meter. What the fuck is up with your meter? You might want to, in that particular case, you probably want to look at what's going on in your house. Something's not right. Can't endorse that particular case.
These utility companies, I guess you think we got money just falling out of our pockets. It's insane.
So AEP sent me an email saying that my electric bill is projected to be $817. Yeah. There's no way I can afford that. I'm broke. Because of Christmas, my kid's birthday, I ain't got no money. Definitely not $817 to pay the electric bill.
Hold on. We need where did Untrackable go? We need Untrackable to talk to this woman. You just gotta do it. Cancel Christmas, ma'am.
So I don't normally get on here and say a lot, but I'm an aggravated woman right now. My power bill is almost $900, and I have, the typical home as most West Virginians do. You put plastic up over your windows and your doors and your blankets, and you close off half of your home. And still, my power bill from Black Diamond Power in West Virginia is $864. And I understand that we had really crazy temperatures, but also on top of that, my power bill was $280 last month. How in the hell did it get to almost $900 in 1 month? Lord help me.
Anyone else feel like they're getting ripped off by Dominion Energy? This is another one of my properties. Walking up here, you can see the work being done. You got the dumpsters out. This bill came in $600 and some dollars. I just want to show you the property. And you tell me, is there any chance that this bill is $600 and some dollars? I'm going to walk around the outside just to show you that there's no HVAC unit. See, look this way. Absolutely nothing. Look this way. Absolutely nothing. All right, here I am standing at the other corner. If you look down this way, no HVAC. In fact, there's a pad where the HVAC used to be. You can look this way. No HVAC. In fact, you can see all this extra work I'm doing. Oh, yeah. Look, it's wide open. Oh, yeah. Let me come to the back of the house and just show you it's an active construction site here. So let me do this without tripping. But look at this. It's wide open, right? So, of course, there's no HVAC. There's no electricity. It's all turned off. It's literally off. How in the world is my electric bill $600 and some dollars? I'm now inside the property. Look at the flooring. Look at the shell. I'm going to try and get over on this board here. I'm literally standing in the middle of the kitchen and look all around. You can even see outside. It's an absolute empty shell. There's no tenants here. There's no HVAC running. There's no lights on. There's no anything. There's no appliances. They'll be behind me here shortly. There's literally nothing. There are no utilities in this house. Nothing. There's not even walls or doors. There's nothing. This is mid-construction, and there's no way this should be over $600.
One of the most frustrating expenses to budget for in Virginia right now is my power bill. As someone who budgets every month, I try to treat all of my bills as fixed expenses. Mortgage, insurance, phone, internet, those numbers are pretty predictable. Utilities are supposed to work the same way. You expect them to fluctuate a little bit, but not throw off your whole budget. And right now that's tough because the cost of living is already high. Groceries are up, housing is up, and childcare is expensive. So when something like your power bill suddenly jumps, it doesn't just affect that one bill, it affects the entire household budget. This is why stable energy costs
West Virginia, huh? Might be moving back there.
Costs matter so much for families in Virginia. Local clean energy is already helping to keep costs steadier, which is making it easier for people to actually plan their monthly finances. And as electricity demand grows, especially from things like data centers, households shouldn't be the one absorbing all those costs. Power bills affect everything in the household budget. What would more stable energy costs mean for your household here in Virginia?
What's up, America? AI data centers to now be metered like a utility. Yes, that's the horse shit information we're learning about these data centers centers that are being built all over the nation. That when it's all said and done, this is going to be a metered utility, and you're going to be paying for AI services whether you use it or not. So power companies across the nation are set to start charging you an AI data center fee. This will be anywhere between $8 and $20 a month, depending on where you are. But in the higher concentrations of data center locations like Virginia, you could pay an extra $200 to $300 a month for your utility bills. So not only are you paying for the data centers because companies that use AI are raising their costs and they're passing it on to you, but you're also paying the electricity, the added cost, and you're paying for the water usage, which is very high.
If you're from West Virginia like I am, I say we all follow each other because nobody can pay their power bill because Mon Power is screwing. They're raking our asses over the coals. So if we all follow each other and start making money on TikTok, maybe we can afford our power bills and buy groceries.
You know what pisses me off? This is what pisses me off. AEP has a nerve to say that we use $1,200 worth of power to live in a house. Does have heat and some little bit of electric for me, my fiance, our two kids. One of the children is here with us part-time. We're never here because we're too busy running the activities for the freaking kids. You want to charge us $1,300 to live here? $1,200 just to power this place. I'm about to turn the damn power off outside myself and get some candles, and our idea of entertainment's going to be shadow puppets on the wall of the candlelight.
So West Virginia had two articles that came out December 29th. Let me tell you what they said. They said we pay the highest utility cost in the nation. Yeah. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. They also say that we have the highest 0% reported earned income. We have 34% of us that don't report any income. So the poorest state in the country pays the highest utility bills.
So I need recommendations for attorneys, I guess. I live in southern West Virginia in a little town called Dainese. It's in Fett County. I've been going round and round with Appalachian Power for a couple years now for extremely high electricity bills. They have a monopoly here, so you pay it or you don't have power. I tag them on Facebook literally like every month when I get my bill. They swear nothing's wrong. We updated our house completely, 100%, even outside and inside electrical, had to pass an inspection. Well, we bought another house last month, and one of those like cells on it was the way lower power bills. Like I'm talking like 150 to like 380. And I'm like, heck yeah. Well, they made me pay $143 security deposit. After I paid that, it was like, oh, well, you owe an old bill of like 300 and some. And okay, so I have to pay that. It was like $509 altogether. Well, then I get a bill. It's like for $148. And I thought that was like the first month's electricity. Until I get another bill in the mail, and it was $1,145. I was like, what the shit? Like nobody lives there. We've had so much snow and ice, like haven't been able to move. So I call, and I even called the Public Service Commission, and they were like, oh, well, you know, maybe something's broke, blah, 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 blah. Like literally no help at all. Not to mention this house that we currently live in, I just got a bill of $919. So I contacted my bank and asked them to go back as far as they could for my Appalachian Power payments. They were only able to go back to February of 2024. They said if I wanted them to go back further, it was like $25 an hour, which is crazy. It's City National Bank of West Virginia, by the way, which is crazy to me. But so since February of 24, and it is just turned March of 26, I have paid $12,257.92. Not to mention the $1,145 and then the $919. That's a total of $2,060.68. So by the time I pay that, we're going to be at $14,318.20. I can't do it.
I'm really so confused about something. I do not know how AEP in West Virginia is getting away with doing what they are doing to their customers. My bill has been nothing compared to the other people I've talked to. Literally $1,000 or over dollars for a bill for 1 month.
Well, that Green New Bill thing was something about climate change. And obviously it's getting colder, not warmer. It's like, hey, these high heating bills basically means global warming does not exist. It's not getting warmer, it's getting colder. Screw the Green New Deal.
Bill was almost 500 last month. This month it was literally more than last month because who knows why. But I know for a fact when I got my bill last month, I made sure to turn off heaters, to turn off everything to make sure my bill was less than it was. And it ended up being more. It's literally not fair that they hike their prices up when the weather is cold because I know I used less this month than last month. And I'm going to be absolutely so mad if it's higher this month because we have literally cut down so much, like we're being cost effective, covering them up if we're warm, like trying to do our best to keep the bill down. And I have a feeling it's going to be high.
Ma'am, I don't want to hear this shit. Take that nose ring money and put it towards your heating bill.
Just as high as it was last month. And how? AEP, if you hear this, let me know how this works because it's not fair. It's not fair. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in the United States, and you're literally hitting us over the head.
Meet Rebecca Michalski, hailing from the state of West Virginia. And right now, Rebecca, along with many other people from West Virginia, are facing a crisis. And that crisis is astronomically high electricity bills. For
I
example,
did not make the best possible joke. She needs to take that nose ring money and pay through the nose. Bad joke by now, but I should have said that, god damn it, the first time.
well, Rebecca lives on a fixed income, but in February, her electricity bill was $940.08. It's gotten so bad that she's even taken out a personal loan to try to pay off the bills. Rebecca says, quote, "Every time you see that power bill, you're just sick." As she rifles through a stack of statements totaling
Wait, is this dude AI? Wow.
thousands of dollars.
Hey, they're paying high electrical bills for that AI dude.
West Virginia has the highest utility bills out of any state in the nation. According to a report from move.org, West Virginia has the #1 highest utility bills out of all 50 states. According to that report, West Virginians pay the highest water bills in the United States at an average of $121 per month, where the national average sits at around $49 per month. Now, mind you, the majority of West Virginians do not have safe, clean drinking water. Our electricity, natural gas, water, and sewer rates have all taken a hike in the last year. Mind you, our politicians are wanting to stick AI data centers in our state that are only going to increase the rates of our electricity and water bills. And guess what? The quality of our water still ain't going to get better.
Your electric bill isn't just electricity or data centers, as they'd like you to believe. It's profits. Investor-owned utilities keep about 15% of your overall bill for just profit. So if you pay $200 a month, $30 of that bill goes directly to investors. Not power, not repairs, not workers, just profit. And it's rising. It was at 13%, but now it's closer to 15%. But here in Virginia, aka Dominion Power, it is 16%. Believe it or not, some companies are way higher, like Florida Power and Light and Mid-American Energy. They are at 27%. Meanwhile, bills are going up, shutoffs are increasing, and you can't switch providers. Why is that? Because utilities like Dominion Energy are regulated monopolies. That means they are guaranteed customers and they are guaranteed profits that are set by regulators. Here's the wild part. Over time, you don't just pay for the infrastructure, but you pay it back twice. Once for cost and again through profit over decades. The top institutional investor for Dominion Power may or may not surprise you, but you might be a little angry by the end of this. You're Virginia Beach Local, coming back at you. Let's get into it, shall we? Dominion Power is primarily owned by institutional investors who collectively hold about 73 to 84% of the company's outstanding shares. Only 0.12% are held by insiders, and we will get into that in part 3. Now back to the institutions. There are 1,825 institutions that are currently holding shares in Dominion Power. But here are the top 10. Vanguard is coming in at 12.19% of ownership and BlackRock at 9.15% ownership. BlackRock is publicly owned by its shareholders, whereas Vanguard is owned by its investors. The top companies that own Vanguard are Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. And get this, Vanguard is the biggest owner of BlackRock. Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon, in a way, run Vanguard, which controls BlackRock, and together they own over 20% of Dominion Energy. These tech companies aren't just investing in power companies, but they're also using it to power their data centers. Running all these servers costs a fortune, so buying stakes in energy companies like Dominion gives them the ability to lock in costs. In short, they're racking up the energy bills and setting themselves up to profit. It's a massive web, but it all starts with these big tech companies.
If it keeps going up like this, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because my wages aren't rising, but my bills keep rising.
Paige Shallow's winter power bills ranged from $350 to $400.
$362.98.
Now, even in warmer months, she's paying about $50 more than previous years.
Which is pretty significant. $50 a month is absolutely not nothing.
For a single mom of two, that $50 matters. Shallow says she does everything she can to conserve, but it's still high.
We've heard from so many people around Virginia that they're having real problems paying those bills. They're having to choose between paying their electric bill or another bag of groceries or what bills they're going to pay. So it was really important to look at, what's going on here.
That's what Clean Virginia Executive Director Brennan Gilmore says they wanted to find out. A new Clean Virginia report says Dominion Energy bills are rising faster than inflation. The report points to four main causes: outdated regulatory framework, dependence on fossil fuels, tariffs, and the rollback of federal tax credits, but also the rapid growth in data centers.
Data centers use a tremendous amount of energy. Some of them, the largest ones, use as much as is produced by one nuclear plant, which is pretty crazy when you think about it.
But Dominion Energy disagrees. In a statement, a spokesperson said, quote, "This report is just factually wrong. For more than a decade, our residential rates have remained below the national average, and they've gone up substantially less than the rate of inflation." Dominion says it invested in reliability and clean energy to keep costs down. On data centers, the company said, quote, "We have also put in place some of the strongest protections in the country to prevent data center costs from being passed on to residential customers. Data centers are not the central driver in the increasing cost of energy. It's inflation for supplies and fuel. We know now there's new laws taking effect in Virginia aimed to shield customers from fuel spikes and prevent costs tied to data centers from hitting residents. For Shallow, who's just trying to keep the lights on, relief can't come soon enough.
I would love to see my bills not continually increasing. I would love to see all of these hardworking folks that I know not be squeezed absolutely to death.
These perspectives reveal a complex and evolving conversation, one shaped by personal expectations, political realities, and changing viewpoints. Whether these reactions signal a larger shift or remain individual experiences, they highlight just how dynamic and divided public opinion can be in moments of change. If this video made you think, be sure to like, comment, and share your perspective below. Your voice is part of this ongoing conversation. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories from everyday people, and click on the video on your screen now to continue exploring the issues shaping America today.
Yeah, we may have to look at North Carolina tomorrow. I think I'm going to wrap it up with this particular video. Let's see. White man uses the N-word every few sentences. Let's explore this. Why would he do that? Is he on an RLM panel?
And just that fast, I found a white man explaining his usage of the word.
In Florida, I don't give a fuck where you go. In Florida, and this for everybody watching, whether you're up north, you're in jail, you're in Arkansas, you're up under a rock. In the South, you can be 2 o'clock in the morning and see two white girls in front of the club calling each other nigga fight. Nigga, what's up? Nigga, let's go. Nigga, I'll beat your ass. You can go in a Chinese restaurant and order your food, and that man back there said, nigga, hurry up. Like pay for the food, nigga, hurry up. Nigga is in the South culture. Like it's on t-shirts, it's in the music, it's in the streets, it's in the house, it's in the churches, it's in the schools, it's in the colleges.
It's in the churches?
The word, I don't know how to express or what platform. Ari said something one time. She came from up north down here and she said a white girl said nigga to her. Ari, I don't know what to tell you, honey. And you in Florida, you gonna get called a nigga. Not a nigger, but my nigga. It's a form of endearment, it's friend, it's culture, and it's tradition in the South. In Florida, I don't give a fuck you got dreads. I don't give a fuck you Jamaican, Haitian, white, black, nigga is gonna get said. And it's accepted. We even call each other fuck niggas. And you my partner. Man, fuck nigga, you crazy. But you my partner though. That's how we raised. So no matter what, you on that Mason-Dixon line, north or south, when you come to Florida, it is what it is.
And look at some of these comments with all these likes. In Florida, especially, Miami nigga don't mean black, man. It's used to describe any person, male or female, white or black. Didn't even notice Unc was white until like halfway through the reel. It's culture, not racist anymore. In Texas, we all say nigga. None of us say it in a racist term. It's a term of endearment. It's the same thing. New Orleans and most of Louisiana, people of all races use it like the term bro. Whites, blacks, Vietnamese, Arabs. It's true. Everybody in South Florida be saying nigga. This guy says never acceptable from whites. I pretty much think it's over. Like, might as well cut it out. Like, it's done. Y'all did this. It seems to me we're having a cultural shift in real time. Now, there'll be some people who will like fight against this and they'll fight for a long time. But I'm guaranteeing you that because this has become so popularized in popular culture, remember, rap is pop culture, it is almost unstoppable. You can't stop it with your whining and crying. And you do violence, you're just going to go to jail these days. You brought it on yourselves. I think as much people could do about it except be mad. You got to live with your inventions. And you invented this new definition. So you got to live with what you got. It is what it is.
No more yaza baza.
This guy's a new channel. I don't even know how I discovered the channel. He's fairly conservative. I have to admit, I 100% agree with this. We brought it on ourselves, and all I have to say is I want to say thanks, Thomas Sowell, but I don't know that I've ever heard him use the word. But bottom line is it should not be used on my channel. Not variations of it, not don't riff on it. It just shouldn't be used. And that's pretty much all I have to say. But it's a good channel. We'll be watching more from him. Blaming rap is MAGA. I didn't blame rap necessarily, though I'm sure it didn't help. But black people using it gave permission to other demographics to use it. I can't remember, did Richard Pryor, I remember back in the day he said he wouldn't use it anymore, and I don't know if he ever went back on that or not. Fred, help me out, you may know. Hey Dawn, how you doing? Yeah, it's a term of endearment until someone don't like you, then you're dead. Yeah, okay. Okay, Kelvin. I guess that's a point. But yeah, let's try not to use it on this channel. And no, I'm not gonna fucking tax $2 for using the N-word. Just don't use it. So anyway, we are coming up on 3.5 hours. I don't know that I need to carry this on any farther. I've had a good time. I will be back tomorrow. And I'm afraid if I get bored, hopefully I'll find something to do that's useful. Yep. I don't see any reason to carry on. So see y'all later. Have a good Sunday. And stay out of trouble. I will take my own advice.